Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the VRA GTCC Round 9 from Imola, or Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, for all those Italian friends out there. This is going to be a frantic race. They are just starting their qualifying session, and in the booth with me tonight, I have Bill Switzer. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Pete, Tyler, and Sam.
But not the audience, so that's fine.
Yeah, everybody else is here too. Sorry.
And also welcoming Tyler back to the booth. Hello, Tyler.
Hello, everybody.
And doing all the really technical stuff, because none of us know what the hell we're doing with it, is Sam Boozen.
I don't know either. Hello, everybody.
Excellent. So we're all geared up just like normal. If I scream at any point, it's because my cat's in the room and now staring at me, stood next to my seat. So that's going to be interesting. This is simulation, after all. So, guys, tonight is going to be a very interesting race. We have a few changes to announce, one of which being the car changes. So, you may be familiar with seeing some of these guys in other cars. And that's because tonight we have the Lamborghini and the BMW joining us. So, I'm going to let probably Tyler talk about those two cars, because he may know more about them than I do. I've driven the Lamborghini, Tyler, around Long Beach, which was an interesting experience. I don't even own the BMW yet. So what do you know of these two new cars that we've got on the track?
Yeah, Pete, I'm actually in the same boat as you. I don't own the BMW, but I've driven the Lamborghini. Found the Lamborghini personally to be pretty kind of middle of the road. You know, it's not a car that feels, you know, on edge in particular, and it's not a car that, you know, you can push around because it just understeers. It's pretty kind of average, which is a good thing for a lot of drivers. You know, that's exactly what a lot of guys want in the car. You know, the really quick guys maybe sometimes want a car that they can really manhandle and push around, but for a lot of drivers who are kind of not the aliens of the aliens, it's good to have a car that's pretty complacent, pretty average. I have heard the BMW can be a bit on the understeery side, and with that big engine up front, that's not totally surprising. It sounds as though the car is pretty easy to drive in a way, but there's a shot of that beautiful looking BMW.
Yeah, that's going to be an interlude, isn't it?
I think everybody's opinion in the booth on the look of the BMW is pretty similar. So
yeah, open wide.
It's not great. It's not great. But no. Now, as for where they slot in around Imola, I think the Lamborghini is going to be pretty strong here. I think the Audi is as well. The only car I've driven around here is the McLaren. I was just doing some work to help out our team drivers who are driving the McLaren, and that struggled a bit. It's pretty good at a lot of tracks, but the problem around here is it can be a bit of a handful over curving, and there's quite a bit of that you have to use around Imola to be quick. So I think we might see, of course, as I'm looking at qualifying at the moment, Adam Wright has put his McLaren to the top overall. There we go. There's Tom Sluter displacing him to prove my theory correct. But if I had to hedge my bets on any one car in particular, I'd say look for the Audis to be quick around here. But I don't think the Lamborghinis will be far off, nor will the BMW.
Yeah, and as you say that, two Audis take over the top two spots. So happy days with that prediction, Tyler. Sam, I know you own the new BMW. What do you think of it compared to the Z4, or if you're American, the Z4? Because you've driven both of them, as far as I'm aware. Well, and while you're talking, I'm just going to evict my cat from my man cave, because she's now getting annoying. All right,
saying that I've driven the new BMW M4 is quite a lot to say. I've only done 2 laps. It feels good, but it looks ugly. that's all I have to say. I've not tested enough to really give some outputs, but I do know that you might see BSTV, BMW M4 in the VRS entrance pretty soon, because I do want to get back into some small entrance racing, so I'm gonna be able to tell you, but a bit later, not right now. And I hope you're sorted with your friends. Apparently you are.
I am, yes. One eviction notice served. Because they can get a bit annoying, especially when she starts typing on my keyboard when I don't want her to. So, like I say, I've not touched it. Have you touched either of these two cars, Bill?
Well, from a terrible driver that I am, I have to tell you the Lamborghini feels a lot like the Audi, no doubt. But anyway, like Tyler said, it's for ham and eggers like me. It's fairly easy to drive. It's not difficult. It gets a little bit. I mean, you got to be really careful. You can't slam bang it like I usually do cars because it really hurts the tires badly and doesn't want to handle after about 10 laps. But it's not a bad car. I mean, it feels pretty nice. The BMW I own, God knows why, but really haven't done much with it. I've taken it out a couple times. Feels like a slug to me, but it might be. Who knows? I mean, like Tyler said, I'm sure these cars are going to shine at different tracks. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. But I think BMW's styling department ought to make a few changes. But other than that, I don't know. I couldn't tell you on that one, Pete.
Are there more than 10 laps in a race?
Well, not if you hit walls and stuff. No, there aren't.
That's why then. Okay. So we have an exciting race coming up. Just to remind everybody of all the other cars that are in here, we've got the AMG still. That's on your screen at the minute. We have McLarens with the fire that they fire out the back of it, which is always
love it.
It's brilliant, isn't it? The Audi, which we've discussed already. The Ferrari is in here. And then nothing from Fords or Z4s because, the Z4's not part of it anymore. So interesting developments in the league. Like I said, you might not see the same driver driving the same type of car because they did get a chance to do a free change of car. Ordinarily, it would result in a points penalty to swap cars in the middle of a league, but because of what iRacing's done, it's only fair that they got a free pass. I would like to go through the standings, Sam, if you've got them to hand. I'm going to wait for them to come up on the screen because I don't have the same screens that you do. So we're talking the Pro at the moment. So this is after the drop, isn't it? We get a drop round for everybody, and these points after the drop round. So Ty Simon leading at the moment, 1954. Not that far behind, really, is Chris Shaw on 1,816 points. Martin Verschluven on 1,635 points. Jamie Wilson is fourth on 1,349. And Abdullah Amri, or AAA, is in fifth at the moment. Not far behind are Marco Lewert, Sammy Baitor, Adam Watson, who's usually, in the other leagues we've seen him in, a bit higher than this. So not sure what's ailing him there. Then Marcus Bletz and Roy Vaverka round out the top 10. Any surprises in there for you guys, or is that as you'd expect this league to look right now for the Pro round?
We have to really look at Chris Shaw. He seems to be good in a lot of cars, so we have to watch him. Either that or give him some penalty points or something.
Yeah, just weigh his car down.
There you go. Good thinking.
Yeah. What about you, Tyler? You see anything on there that surprises you or not?
I think a lot of the surprises just have to do with people who haven't made all of the rounds. I think that's what has happened to Adam Watson, because as you mentioned, he should be up towards the top. He's currently second here in qualifying. But for the most part, that seems to stack up pretty well how I would picture that group. Tice has been quick every week, and it shows with over 100-point lead on Chris Shaw there. Definitely.
Yeah, and, I wasn't racing in the same race as him because my I rating is significantly lower than his. Last night, actually, he was racing GTEs, and he was in the top split, and I was in the one-off window liquor split. And he did really well, so good on him. I think he finished like second or something. He was very good. So yeah, that's good. A little poll for the guys on the chat. The new BMW. hideously ugly or salvageable. Those are the only. It's never going to look good. So those are the two criteria you've got. So feedback. I know Stacey and Martin do Z4s in real life. So they'll need to feedback and really dig deep into your emotions at this point, and be realistic with it, because it is not the prettiest car in the world. It's got a bit of a gorp on it and not good. Can we switch to the AM class, please, Sam?
You know, one thing, in all due respect to the BMW, that's not going to win any beauty awards. You know, all the drivers and the owners care about is it got to be fast. If it's fast and these guys can do well in it, who cares what it looks like? You know.
Yeah, true. And they've done some interesting things with the grille on the front of it, to try and disguise it, I think, on these paint schemes.
Yeah.
If Clyde comes into the booth, right, because he's not racing, he's being an utter girl, he's, I don't know, cracked a nail or something, but it's a toenail or something like that. He's just said that the BMW is the Bingham of the car world.
Oh, jeez.
I find that slightly exaggerated.
That's really not nice at all.
So there's some good comments coming through. I'll read them out in a minute. So in the AM class, Adam Wright is top of the pile with 1,530 points.
Yay.
Ben Cullen, whoever he is, on 1,522. So that is about as tight as you're gonna get.
Really good,
only 8 points. That's crazy, being 9 rounds in. Then Jezza McClintock on 1412, Kevin De Winter on 1308, and Jacob Lebrun rounds out the top 5 on 1194. Close behind them, Roger Morton, Ralph Cullinan, Barry van Englenhoven, Stefan Goebel, and Frank T-Bosch round out the top 10. Any surprises in that lot, guys?
I don't think there really are, and it's impressive, the battle at the front. I think it's just been Adam and Ben's kind of consistency. We've seen both of them poking their way into kind of the pro battle the last few times out. Ben, I think, got the AM win last time out, or was that 2 times ago?
Well, he has had a win, you're right.
Yeah.
And Adam has been quick as well. And of course, Jeremiah McClintock hasn't been far off them either. So I think that kind of trio at the front is who you have to keep your eye on as far as the championship goes. But the guys behind them aren't really slouches either, and we've seen some really good battles within the AM class the last few weeks, I have to say.
Jeremiah McClintock, I think, also missed a race, so I was going to say,
He did, yes.
I think he'd be a little further up too, because he's really shown a great performance, and unfortunately, a couple of times he's had to do late pit stops and stuff that have ruined his race. So he'd be a lot better up if he, had a little go his way a little better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be perfectly honest. So we've also got somebody else who's driven the BMW. I was speaking to him earlier. His identity will always be an utter secret. He is affectionately known to us as the Stash. And he did a lap round here in no other than the new BMW, the beautiful thing that it is. So before I get to the comments on, like Martin Brennan's, that he just said the car is rank, which is a hilarious comment. That's brilliant. Thanks for that, Martin. We're going to roll film on the Stash's little mini tour of Imola.
Great.
Okay. And apparently we've got a technical issue with the Stash vid, so you're not getting that today. So we'll carry on talking positions then. Do we have the teams league table, Sam? Excellent.
And as he pulls that up, Pete, something interesting I've noticed with the teams is that with this free car choice, pretty much all of the teams have switched to the same car. We saw a lot of car splitting between teams at the start of the season, but at this point, they're all kind of in the same car. All of the Paceworks drivers are in the Audi. All of the Chimera drivers are in the Audi. All of the VTS drivers are in the Lamborghini. All of the Result drivers are in the BMW. So you kind of get that aligning of the drivers with the team cars. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll definitely see if there's any car dominance, because one team will be at the top and one will be at the bottom in theory. So yeah, well, that's a brightly coloured VTS Lamborghini, isn't it? If you're going to paint your Lamborghini any colour and you spend that much money on it, then you're going to want it to be eye-bleeding green, don't you?
Not really.
That's not really. So the teams, let's have a look at that. So Dutchies Esports is top of the pile with 2,854 points. Paceworks Esports are not far behind, to be perfectly honest, 2,813. Then VTS Germany Black on 2663. Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis on 2580. Then BSTV Esports on 2491. Rounds out the top 5. Somebody sneaked into this chat room and I've not.
Sorry.
Oh dear. Then we got behind them Ascari, Autosport, Team Chimera, who I thought would be a bit higher up than that. VTS USA Black and VTS USA Yellow are 8th and 9th, and then Safeguard by Result in 10th. Any dramatic surprises there, guys?
No, I'm not surprised at the top. Dutchies Esports and Paceworks have basically run the board here. They're doing a great job. They have really good drivers, fast drivers that seem to be at the front when it counts. So I'm not surprised there. Although I have to tell you, Northern Lights Racing Scuderi Haggis, I believe is Ben Cullen, and that's pretty good job from those guys. Get up in 4th place.
It is, but don't tell him that.
Oh, don't worry, I won't.
Never say it out loud.
He'll have to widen all his doors to get him through. I know.
Yeah. He'll have to widen the garage door to get that BMW in it.
That's for sure.
Surprises for you on there, Tyler, or is that about what you'd expect?
I think that's pretty well what I'd expect. You know, part of the grouping at the top has benefited teams that have multiple drivers, especially the teams that have quite a few drivers, because they can, guarantee that they're going to get kind of the full amount of points available week in and week out. So Dutchies and Paceworks definitely probably in the best shape. VTS among their several teams, definitely up there because they have quite a few cars in the field as well. But yeah, pretty much what you'd expect. I think BSTV Esports would be even further up had Ben been signed on at the beginning of the season rather than mid-season. But yeah, it's good to see the team up there.
One other thing, Tyler, excuse me. I think Team Chimera, however you pronounce it, I believe could be a lot better off. One of their guys, what's his name? Kiernan Chung, is that his name?
Yep.
He's been having all kinds of controller problems and hasn't been able to race. And Jamie Wilson, on the most part, has been doing most of the work. And Ben Tusting, I'm not sure if he missed the race or not, but he's been kind of carrying the banner by themselves. I would expect them to be 4th or 5th, but they've been doing pretty well considering they're like Tyler said, it makes a difference if you got 3 or 4 strong guys up there rather than 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I think one or even both of the 2 Team Chimera cars didn't do so well at the very beginning. I think it was the Spa race or Le Mans or somewhere like that.
That's right. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, they got wiped out before they even crossed the start-finish line, I think, or at the end of lap 1 or something. So, yeah, very unfortunate set of circumstances there.
I noticed interestingly, they've changed to Audi as well. They've gotten rid of the Ferraris.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And I'm not sure what the motivation behind taking the Audi is, although you look at the timing screen at the moment, and currently we've got Ty Simon on pole, provisionally, in an Audi. Behind him is Adam Watson in an Audi. Behind him is Ben Tusting, the one you're watching, in an Audi. And then fifth is also an Audi, with Jamie Wilson right behind it in sixth in an Audi.
That's right.
So, as Tyler was alluding to before, the Audi is floating to the top. What do you put that down to, Tyler? Is it something specifically over the Lamborghini? Because they should behave very similarly, shouldn't they? They're a similar setup of car.
They do, from my understanding, and I haven't spent a ton of time in either, though I do own both. My understanding is that the Lamborghini is just a little more, what's the word? It's just a little more blah than the Audi. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's not as sharp, I guess. So the quick drivers who are able to handle a car that is a bit pointier, perhaps, will get their heads around the Audi a little bit better, I think. I don't know what specifically separates the two at this track in particular, because it was something I noticed in practice that the Audis seem to be quicker. It could very well just be the teams and drivers that are driving it.
Yep.
You know, we've seen VTS have been the main guys running the Lamborghini, and they seem to have been, you know, quick enough, certainly, but towards the back end of the pro field the last few times out. So I don't know that there's any significant difference between the cars. I'd imagine if the Paceworks guys put in the time, you know, like we saw them do with the McLaren last week, you know, it just takes them putting in the time with the car to make it go quick. But as I mentioned, the issue with the McLaren this week is the curb strikes I found. And I've heard it's similar with the Ferrari as well. So Martin Verstappen's done well to get his Ferrari up into the top 5, because I'd imagine he's struggling with a lot of the same things the McLaren is around here at Imola.
Okay. Well, I'm reliably informed that the stash video has now been re-released and maybe operable. So we're going to have another go at this. While Sam gets it all set up and ready, we've got a few comments about the BMW. One says it looks like a Hyundai. Thanks, Martin Brennan. I'm going to skip over Clyde's comment again, because I don't think you need to know that twice. Stacey says the person who made the decision to lose the Z4 and put this thing in its place needs to be sacked. So watch out, iRacing, or someone at BMW. So, yes, if we can run the stash video now, Sam, that would be amazing. Good evening and welcome to another version of the Stash Does a Lap around one of our tracks. This is the VRA GTCC event at Imola, and what a fantastic and iconic track this is. We are, well, the Stash is in the new BMW M4 prototype, GTE, obviously. And he's about to do us a lap. He's going to tuck it into Variante Alta at the moment. Lots of curb there. Ooh, a bit ugly, a bit wide. That might be an incident. Incident's fairly easy to come by around this track, so we'll see how the Stash manages it once he's got down here through turn 13 and into Ravazza, which is the last two left-handers. They feel a bit strange when you're doing them in the sim because it's downhill. It feels off camber and it's not. He's going to fire it out of that last turn, round the kink at turn 16 here, and then on to the start-finish straight. So we're on board now. It is a fantastic view down the start-finish here. Lots of places to get some slipstream and get overtaken, or do some overtaking if you're particularly good. Out to the outside of the track here for Tragado. And you take curb here. That one's safe. This one is not. Keep away from those bumpy things. This is Tamburello, a very famous corner. You can do an overtake there, but it's very difficult. More likely into here under braking, but then again Villeneuve, which is what this chicane is, turns 5 and then turn 6 here. run wide here. That's a very complicated place to overtake. Here's where you're going to get lots and lots of sends, I expect. This is Toes a hairpin, which you take quite wide. That's why the green bit's on the outside there, because everybody does it. And fire it up the hill here. You stay to the right here. It's the shortest path to the top of the hill. Tuck it in to the left. Don't go too fast here. Too fast means you go too far wide here at the top of the hill. This is Piratella. And then you come down here to arguably one of the most complicated corners in the world, Aqua Minerale. You take a little bit of curb on both sides, but not too much. A bit squirrely there from the stash. Needs to keep it a bit more toned down, mate. Maybe you're still hungover from the new year, not sure. We're going to tuck into Variante Alta now. Lots of curb, both sides. It can destabilise the car horrifically through there. And then back on the gas. Try not to get slipstream down here. A lot of people use this as a place to avoid getting overtaken by switching the sides of the track. And then, like I said before, this is Ravazza. And you feel this is very unstable through a lot of these corners. Easy to run wide there, and easy to run wide here as well. And then back on the gas, floor it, get as much as you can. Coming onto this straight smoothly and early on the gas is the better way. Early on the gas as in before you've hit the apex of the corner. Fantastic lap there. This thing doesn't half growl, doesn't it? It's the new prototype. It's got the grille which is slowly taking over the whole of the front end of the car. The back end is by far a better view of this one, as opposed to the Ford, which is the GTE Ford, which is hideously ugly from the rear. So yeah, the Stash did a fantastic job there. A few twitchy bits, but you expect it around Imola. This is going to be a hell for leather race. He's in the EDF paint, isn't he? Yeah, it's a nice paint to be in. EDF Motorsports there on the car. And he's going to make his way back round the lap. I'm led to believe that the Stash does like it here. He likes some pizza. And he also likes the Italian diesel better than the UK diesel. A bit of a slow-mo there from our cameraman showing you the fantastic rear of the BMW. And that will be our tour of Imola, our fast lap of Imola from the Stash. Thank you for watching and continue with the racing.
Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the Stash. And I don't know if Pete's with us back yet or not.
Oh, I'm back, yeah.
All right, okay.
What,
yeah. You got the direct Stash into the garage or what?
No, I was correcting all the errors that I made in actually commenting on the video on the chat. So, yeah. So Tyler's updated everybody on the BMW position in GT3. With it being a BMW choice, is that right, Tyler? BMW have made the choice.
I mean, I don't have confirmation of that, but it's pretty evident. You know, BMW's been kind of increasing their partnership with iRacing in the last couple of years and sponsoring series, and it's pretty clear that they have a good relationship. And I think it has more to do with as they increase that relationship, wanting the current car to be a part of iRacing rather than one that hasn't really been in service in the real world for 3 or 4 years.
I think you hit it right on the head, Tyler. I totally agree with you. It's a marketing kind of thing. They want the new car out there.
Yeah, it's just a shame the new car is ugly.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I guess. But most of us want to hurl looking at it.
Anybody on the chat actually think this car looks good? Because you're in the minority if you do. So we've only got about a minute or so left. How long have we got? Yeah, about 1.5 minutes of qualifying left. Ty Simons is still your provisional poleman. Ben Tusting is provisionally second. Adam Watson third. Jonathan Foote fourth. Martin Verschluven in fifth. And Jamie Wilson in sixth. They're all pro drivers. Then we've got Adam Wright is the first of the AM class drivers with Stefan Goebel, in second. And then looking a bit further down the list, Jeremiah McClintock in third, Paul Robinson in fourth, and Kevin De Winter in fifth. Ben Cullen outside the top 5 provisionally at the moment in 6th place. So a bit of work to do there, but he's not out on track at the minute. You will see my name, people, on the listings, and that's because I was moronic enough to join as a driver, not a watcher. So,
Nah, Pete didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so he decided to
Make
just
sure,
kind of step aside.
make sure he secured last place, so everybody else can say they beat someone.
Yeah, I'm trying to increase the point score for people. Hopefully nobody will notice if we don't tell them.
Excuse me, Pete.
Go.
Tyler and I were mentioning while you were correcting whatever you were correcting that we're kind of impressed with Stefan Goebel, the amount of how he's moving forward. Like in the race Wednesday night, he did really well. I mean, toward the end he had a problem, but he ran fifth like all night long. And in this, I mean, look at where he's qualified. He's doing a heck of a job. He's certainly certainly improved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good when you're in these leagues. You don't see this in officials, do you? But you can see the development of certain drivers. Obviously, I've been in these leagues for ages, and I'm not developed at all. I'm still as terrible as I was when I started. But certain people come and go, and whilst they're with these leagues, that's very, very wide from Ben Tusting. That's a definite 1x. You see them develop and become more mature as racing drivers in the simulators. And it's brilliant to watch, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Yeah, it's. There's several people that have, that surprised me that they don't do better in the GT4 league that are pretty darn good in this league. One that comes to mind is Carl Hardy. I mean, I think Carl Hardy runs into a lot of little problems, and Carl's an easygoing guy. He just is having fun. He doesn't really care, but he does. Seems to do a heck of a lot better in GT3 than he does GT4 for some reason. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah. And anybody in that category for you, Tyler, in the developmental phase?
Well, yeah, as Bill mentioned, Stefan Goebel has really seemed to adapted to this Lamborghini quite well and has done an excellent job in the GT3 league. I think he's been kind of steadily improving in the GT4 league as well, but his rise has been more rapid here. But certainly, as Bill mentioned, a lot of the result guys are pretty impressive in how they've stepped up. Carl kind of mid-pack here today, but he's been really quick kind of week in, week out in the TCR class in our GT4 TCR challenge presented by EDF Motorsports. So, it's a lot of those guys who show up week in and week out, and the first time they're there, you don't really notice because they're kind of in the back and just having just running their race. But as they keep showing up, you just start to pick it up. It's like Bill was saying, the more you show up, the more you improve, unless you're Pete. So I think it's good that these guys keep turning out. Well,
so yeah, Gary on the chat said even on the inside, you have to listen to the engine, and he'd prefer the McLaren any day of the year. It does have a growl on that BMW. Anyway, we've reached the end of qualifying. We shall shortly tick over to the official starting grid, and when we do, I'll read out the first bits, and then Tyler, if you want to do the second bits, and Bill, do you want to do the last bits? That'd be good.
Oh, all right.
All right then. So your pole man for this race will be Ty Simons for Paceworks Esports. Ben Tusting will go off second for Team Chimera, and Adam Watson will go off third for Paceworks Esports Black. Jonathan Foote will go off fourth, another Paceworks Esports car. Martin Verschluven will go off fifth. Jamie Wilson will go off sixth. Marcus Bletz will be seventh. Eighth will be Paul Burgess. Ninth will be Adam Wright. 10th will be Stefan Goebel. 11th will be AAA Abdul Al-Amri. Marco Lewert will go off 12th.
And rolling off 13th will be Chris Shaw. A bit surprised to see Chris that far back. He's normally a bit higher up, but he rolls off 13th. Jeremiah McClintock rolls off 3rd in AM in 14th overall. Tom Sluter in 15th. Paul Robinson will start 16th ahead of Kevin DeWinter and Ben Cullen. Dan Giudici will start in 19th ahead of Barry Van Englenhoven in 20th. Jacob Lebrun will start 21st ahead of Charles Kellerman and Yaz Samai. Pretty good effort for Yaz in what I believe is certainly his first race in this league in this car. I don't know how much he's driven it outside of it. Carl Hardy starts in 24th for result. And sorry, Bill, go for it.
No, that's okay. 25th is Frank T. Bosch from Result Spyro. John Redwine, VTS USA yellow, rolls off 26th. 27th, Ralph Cullinan, work guard by result. 28th, Roger Morton, safeguard by result. 29th, Simon Chester, Northern Lights Racing. 30th, Jamie Jeffrey, CCR. Alan Toon, 31st, safeguard by result. 32nd, Roy Baverka and Team Automech. And 33rd, Pete Bingham. He's going to sit this one out.
So that is yeah, go on.
Oh, I was just going to mention, as far as drivers who have impressed me with how they've improved, Paul Burgess making his first start in this league as well. He's a teammate to Yaz, both making their first starts. But he's someone who has really moved his way towards the front of the field in a seemingly rapid fashion. You know, he spent the Season 2 of the GT4 TCR Challenge kind of running, you know, mid-pack with the occasional solid performance maybe towards the podium. But he has been somewhat unstoppable unless I take him out like I did at Alton Park. So he's been super quick in the GT4s and clearly adapting pretty well to this GT3 BMW as well.
Indeed, totally agree.
We are about to go green and they've gone, actually. That was very, very quick. Lots of pace works and Chimera cars in the... Well, that's all you've got in the top 5 at the moment. And a huge amount of Audis at the front of this field.
It was a poor start for Verschluven. He did not get the jump, and Jamie Wilson's been able to move up a spot already and looking for another around the outside of Jonathan Foote there. Yeah, they come together, I think.
Wow.
A little bit of netcode contact between the two.
Yeah, I was going to say that will work as well because it'll be on the favourable side for the next corner, but they sorted themselves out by contacting one another.
Look at that McLaren shooting up through there. That's one of our guys.
Oh, that's a pretty car, that McLaren. And I'm not just saying that because I made the livery for it. It's a good-looking car, and that was Adam Wright moving past Paul Burgess, so two of our improved drivers that we were just talking about having a battle there.
How much better could it be? A McLaren throwing fire, and it's sponsored by coffee. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Stacey is on team Jamie Jeffrey tonight. Oh, that's very wide from Ben.
I think that was Ben, yeah. He'll drop a couple spots.
Yeah.
And he'll get a slowdown to boot, so he's going to potentially drop even more to Marcus Bless, Adam right here.
And there's no worse time to get a slowdown than lap 1 because everybody's so tight in the field, you end up losing masses of positions.
Oh, AAA's had an... I see him dropping down the order. Oh, yep, there he is. That's not where the car is supposed to be.
Nope.
AAA's in an Audi, huh? I'll be darned.
Yeah, he had driven the Mercedes before.
He did.
He was, yep. That's right.
Oh, just spun it on power.
Yep.
If you have the traction control turned down a bit too low in these cars and you take a lot of curb, you can light up the right side tires, and I think that's exactly what AAA did there. He finds himself now in very last place, ahead only of Pete Bingham.
Jamie Wilson and Jonathan Foote, is it, going at it?
Yeah, that was the reverse of lap 1, but Jamie able to hold on that time ahead of Foote for second place now, with Ben dropping towards the back of this group and
who's
even
that sneaking up on the inside? That's can't see it. Martin Van Sluven getting back after sleeping and starting there at the start.
Yeah, he got caught napping a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Or got a pack full of wheel spin, one of the two. Was that an overtake for Ben Cullen just then?
It was indeed on Paul Robinson. So Ben's on 4 spots from where he started. One of those, of course, will be AAA, but he has moved his way towards the front of this AM field with rapid pace and is headed towards his sometimes teammate, though not in this league, Adam Wright, for 13th. Overall, but that is for the final podium spot in AM. So Adam has had kind of the opposite start to Ben. He's down 4 positions from where he started.
Well, no, it's where you finish, not where you start the count. So keep an eye on Adam and see what happens with him. Sorry, I had a pop up on another screen which distracted me for a second there. And that McLaren fires itself out of that last corner in spectacular fashion, doesn't it? It's very, very quick out the corners.
It sure is, but you have to be careful. As I was mentioning, that last corner is one of those big danger zones with the curbing. You can take, you have to take a lot to get the run off, but it's actually possible to pick up a corner cutting penalty there, and I grabbed it a few times. And you talk of the worst time to get a corner cutting penalty. I think the worst place to get a corner cutting penalty here is onto that front straightaway, because you just lose heaps and heaps of time trying to give back the time iRacing says you gained, or the penalty for the time you gained.
I'm just wondering what's happening with Paul Burgess, because he's just let 2 cars go past him, and he really did let them. Ben Tusting and Marcus Blitz have both gone screaming past him. We're on board with Adam Watson here, because he's about to try and prize second position away from Jamie Wilson.
Whoa!
Oh, that's...
Oh dear!
Wow!
Is that an overtaking place? I don't know. Everywhere is, I suppose.
Well, if you get cooperation, and Adam did not, and he might very well have a slowdown for that. It was certainly close. But Jamie is fighting hard to hang on to that second place. As far as Paul Burgess goes, I do wonder if, he was up a few spots from where he started when he gave those positions back. I wonder if he's just not wanting to, he's a wild card entry this week, so maybe just not wanting to play into the championship too much and, kind of just run his race here.
Yeah, here's Jamie Jeffrey on the back of John Redwine, I think that is. Is it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
That'll satisfy Stacey.
Here we go again. Adam Watson and Jamie Wilson. 2 Chargers right there.
Oh, no!
Oh,
dear.
I don't know. That was... I don't think Jamie did anything. He pulled alongside of him. I don't know. I didn't see him veer toward him.
I think it's by virtue of the way that braking zone is shaped, because you have that kink right before you start braking in these cars, and Adam's kind of brake angle was tracking him towards the outside of the track,
right,
and Jamie's
exactly.
was going pretty much straight, or maybe a little inside. But as far as, can you blame Jamie for that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No way.
That would definitely be a racing incident if I was on the racetrack.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Yep.
Yeah, saw Jeremiah McClintock briefly tumbling down, but I think it might have just been a connection thing, because he's back up into the lead of Am. That's actually an improvement for him, because he's gotten past both Adam Wright and Stefan Goebbels into the top 10 overall.
Oh. Well, there's a team that switched the VTS guys, both the Americans and the German division, switched from BMW to Lamborghini.
Well, BMW and Mercedes, they were one of the teams that had their drivers split between a couple of cars.
That's right.
So, as I mentioned, it seems like the congregation of teams to just one car has happened with this latest round of car changes. And yes, VTS have all, I believe, all switched to the Lamborghini with that crazy-looking circle livery that I really like. I miss their Continental liveries a bit, because those always look great.
Yeah,
but
they were good.
These circle liveries are quite creative, I have to say. And they stand out for sure.
Yeah, if I had one of those on me, Clyde would think it was a target and make sure he hit me with that one.
I'd get a headache if I had to look at that all day long.
I'm sure Clyde would make me paint yours white and red, Pete, so it was clearly a target.
Ooh. So that appeared to be Jonathan Foote getting a massive kick up off that curb and coming across the track into Martin Verschluven's car.
Yeah.
And the big beneficiary was Ben Tusting, who got both of them.
Christmas came that point.
He got 2 spots. That's right.
Yeah, both Team Chimera cars now on the podium in second and third place. Lots of little incidental contact happening early here, which is something that Imola can kind of create. There's a lot of opportunities for where the track kind of narrows up on exit, and you get those, as I said, incidental contacts like we saw with the Verschluven and Foote there.
Yeah, that's a bold overtake from Adam Watson there.
Boy, it sure was.
That's the kind of overtake you make when you're a pro class car working your way back through the Am field. Is more trouble here for Foote. He's going to lose a spot to Marcus Blitz, if not Paul Burgess as well.
Yeah, so Marcus is definitely through. Oh, no, he's not. Look at that underbraking. Whoa.
I think Marcus might have let him have that one just a little bit.
And those VTS Lamborghinis do stand out. The car that I'm most interested in at the moment. And it's from, what was that?
Wow, that Mercedes was up on 2 wheels just then.
Was that Kevin De Winter's car?
Yes, it was.
It was, yes.
So, nudge.
Dear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of got shoveled off the track by Harry van Englenhoven.
It was a bit of a
Very
concertina there into the last corner, including the recovering Adam Watson making his way back through. I'm not sure if Adam actually hit Barry, but Barry certainly had to kind of keep going or he was going to get hit, and that unfortunately didn't work out for, who was that? No, Kevin De Winter. Yeah. Kevin was the highest running Mercedes in the field, and he was the highest qualifying Mercedes as well. None of the pros are running the Mercedes this week, just the AM-class drivers. Just 2 of them. It's only Kevin and Simon Chester at the moment. I think the consensus seems to be that the Mercedes, while it is competitive at some tracks, is not competitive at all of them, or at least is not the most competitive car at all of the tracks. So for that reason, I think a lot of the drivers won't be wanting to run a full season in the Mercedes, even if it will help them at some places. I think it's the same deal with the Ford as well. There are some tracks that really kind of play into the Ford's hand, but there are also a lot of tracks that it will struggle somewhat, and that's why we don't see anyone who is elected to go with the Ford. I know the Chimera guys were testing it out. I saw a picture of the Ford done up in their really beautiful livery. I love the Team Chimera livery.
Yeah, me too.
They've decided to go the Audi direction instead.
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how things change. I remember when GT3 first started on iRacing, and they started getting 3 or 4 GTs together. Everybody was picking the Mercedes because it was, had a lot of grunt, and it seemed like all the cars were Mercedes. Now all of a sudden, it's the stepchild. It's amazing how things change.
Yeah, it's the general consensus seems to be that the BOP is not perfect and it's never going to be perfect, but anyone who's driven GT3 for a long time on iRacing, I think, has acknowledged that this is far and away the best it's ever been. As it stands, obviously there are some tracks that are going to favor some cars and other tracks that are going to favor others. And there are some cars, by virtue of having benefits, that only play out at a few tracks that are going to get kind of the short end of the stick, and I think the Mercedes is one of those. But as far as kind of balance of performance across the field, I think iRacing has done a pretty excellent job, and they've also communicated it a lot better than it used to be. It was a lot of changes in the change logs that didn't really explain what changed, and then no further explanation. But I know the Christian, the guy at iRacing who handles most of the balance of performance work, has been very vocal, kind of explaining what they did and how the cars stack up, and I think it's really showing so far here. I mean, obviously, yes, we've got 3 Audis at the front, but given that most of the pros are driving the Audi, it's not that surprising. That's Paul Burgess still battling it out with Jeremiah McClintock. That's been a full lap battle between those two, and I think McClintock is going to be the winner there.
Tyler, in real life, you find balance of performance isn't perfect either.
Oh, I know. I've had a small hand in the balance of performance back when I worked in motorsports, and it is an imperfect science at best, even in the real world. So
yeah, when you're exposed to professional racing, it's amazing how these guys are constantly crying about this one and that one. Oh, baby, Dan Guidici, and I don't know who went off there.
I want to say it was Paul Robinson in that VTS Lamborghini. And Paul just came over into Dan there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what Dan could have done besides throwing his car off the track.
Almost similar to the one Jamie Wilson, and who did he knock off there?
Adam Watson.
Adam Watson, yeah.
Yeah, except with this instance, I mean, Jamie could have potentially given a little bit of room, but Dan was already on the grass. I think there was not any more room to be given.
What
we got going? Ty Simons is still in the lead.
Yep. That was Adam Watson showing his nose to whoever it is in front of him at the minute. Tom Sluicer, I think.
That was a swap of the positions for the Chimera boys. So Ben Tusting going ahead of Jamie Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Jamie
they've
not
got
putting
quite.
up a fight there.
And we're on board with Jamie.
Yeah, Ben has been the quicker car. He was quicker than Jamie in practice and qualifying as well. Obviously, he had that early setback that kind of put him behind Jamie. But I don't know if Ben's going to be able to chase down Tice. He might need the help of a safety car, but he's, I think, the quicker of the two Chimera drivers at the moment.
You know, Jamie, we were just on board with Jamie, and I'll tell you, Jamie's got the best onboard videos always. I'll tell you, he really does a great job.
Now this battle is for overall position, but not for class position, as Adam Wright dives it in on Tom Fluter.
He didn't fool around on that one, did he? Wow.
He
didn't and he's away. That Lamborghini looked a bit sideways into the hairpin. And Ty Simons is that 9 seconds ahead already?
Oh, the guy's a jet.
Well, and not to discount Tice, who is rapid for sure, but he has certainly benefited from the kind of chaos from second place on back.
Oh yeah, the reasons plural are understood, but that's still a massive gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just looking at the best lap time, it does appear, unless I'm missing somebody further down the order, that Tice has the quickest lap by about 0.2 over Ben Tusting.
They've thrown the caution.
Oh, that's an early safety car. Goodness.
Whoa, caution's out.
That's right at the start of the window, isn't it? So.
It
yeah,
really
basically.
Is.
Yep.
Not much in it.
That's exactly what Ben Tusting wanted to see, and the opposite of what Ty Simons wanted to see.
Yeah.
Ty Simons was booking his ticket home again on his cell phone in his car. So yeah, this is gonna really stir it all up. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody does anything with pit strategy at the moment. So
yeah,
what would we be looking at ordinarily, Tyler, do you think, for this race?
Gosh, I haven't really worked on strategy for these cars. I've just kind of worked on car setup a bit. I believe it's 2 stops no matter what, is it not? That's kind of been the...
I would have thought so, yeah.
Although no, because at Interlagos we only saw 1 stop, didn't we? From the leaders. And we had a safety car, an early safety car there as well, and they were able to stretch it.
Yeah, Imola's a high fuel usage track, though, isn't it? It's difficult to save fuel around here. There's no big straights, really, that you can sit in the toe of somebody and...
you're busy all the time here.
It's true, yeah. But it's sometimes a lot of big straights can actually hurt the fuel economy as well, certainly if you're out front. Tough to say this early. If I had my crystal ball out and I was trying to predict how this race was going to go, my guess would be everybody stops now, and everybody has 1 more stop after that.
Right.
I don't think we'll see anyone stay out. Well, now that I say that, we might see someone kind of towards the back take a gamble, stay out, try and go for the track position game and stretch it to just 1 green flag stop.
Yeah, Paul is the only one out there that has made a pit stop, so he might came up in front of everybody if everybody takes the pit stop now.
Paul Robinson, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, Sam. Yeah, do you know when Paul made the stop? I know I can check that, but I'm lazy. Did we? Oh, dear.
Yeah, we got
lap 8.
some issue apparently on the yellow flag.
What's that?
Everybody checking up into the chicane, and Dan just run into
Kevin's not having the best of days.
You having fun today, Kevin, or what?
Kevin has had his rear wheels lifted off the ground, I think, too many times today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as mentioned on the chat, Paul has just picked, so it is what I was about to say. And Tice stay out.
Tice stayed out.
And Team Chimera guys are in.
It's a busy pit lane, though, look.
So yeah, so I would imagine the guys saying out will have to do some fuel saving. So one of the Paceworks guys is pit. Adam Watson is in the pits.
Okay.
Tice Simons, Jonathan Foote both stayed out.
And so did Martin Van Sluven
Yep,
also.
Yep, Martin Van Sluven as well. So
I'm going to leave you two to talk for a minute while I sort out another cat-related incident. Won't be long.
I could be wrong because I obviously haven't worked the strategy on these cars too much, but I'm inclined to believe that this is the wrong strategy for Tice, Martin, Jonathan, because even if they can make it easily on one stop, they're still going to have to add more fuel than the cars behind them, for sure, and that just adds up. I think the only way this plays out well for the guys who stayed out is if, Tice, Martin are able to build up kind of the lead we saw Tice have early on in this race, because they are going to lose time for sure on pit lane later on.
One problem with being up front like that, though, you're kind of a sitting duck. If you go in and everybody stays out, then you're on the short end of the stick too. So it makes it a little bit difficult being the first guy. But
it does for sure. Yeah, you're not wrong, Bill.
But I think you're right. I think they all should have jumped in there when they had a chance to, because now, like you said, they're kind of stuck. How are you really gonna save fuel with people beating on your back, not that far back? I mean, your first guy's up in 7th spot behind you. That's not very far behind, especially now you're all closed up. So
yeah, what Tice would have wanted was probably about half the field to stay out. That would have benefited him the most, and more of the AM drivers as well.
Exactly.
If he could have gotten more AM drivers in between himself and the first of the pro drivers who would pit, he'd be in much better shape. Instead, it looks like Jamie Wilson and Ben Tusting came out 1-2 of the cars who had stopped. I'd imagine Jamie will let Ben through again, like we saw, and I think if I was picking a winner of this race right now, I'm inclined to say it's going to be Ben Tusting. But
yeah, I was going to say that both of them are in 8th and 9th respectively, not very far back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. You don't think they're going to duck in? No, they're not going to go in now. No way. You see, it'd be foolish to try to. I don't know when we're going to go green again. It's hard to. I have no idea. Do they tell you or what? I'm not sure.
Well, the lights are still on the pace car,
I
believe.
Yeah.
So it'll be at least, so at least one more lap until they go green here. That the pace car will circulate around. I'd imagine it'll just be one more, though.
It would be foolish for them to stop now. Then they'd really be behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely, yeah. No gain stopping now.
That's right.
Their bet is made. The strategy is sealed in stone, and they've got to do what they can do.
And after all the stuff Martin Van Sluven's been through, he's sitting there in 2nd place. That's interesting.
Yep. Yeah, the big beneficiary, as mentioned, is Paul Robinson, having made his stop just before this. So he's essentially on the same strategy as all the guys who have now made their stop under yellow.
And right behind him are the Chimera twins, so could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the smart play, I think, for Paul here is to just let kind of the pro guys get through. He knows the only AM driver in front of him is Van Englenhoven, and he's not made a stop yet. So he knows he probably has the advantage over Barry, and he knows that he's on the same strategy as the drivers behind him. So the longer he can stay in front of the AM drivers who have made their stop, the better he's going to be, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
So did I miss anything interesting, or has anybody strapped any explosives to Kevin De Winter's car to finally polish it up?
No, we were trying to determine, that what's kind of going to happen here, because the guys that are really kind of super competitive with up front are only in 8th and 9th position. Paul Roberts is the first one after pit stops, but nothing to say bad against Paul Robinson, but he's not quite on the same caliber. I mean, he can be, obviously. You never know what's going to happen. I shouldn't say that at all. I mean, he's done pretty well considering.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like the lights are out on the pace car.
Okay, looks like we're going to go green this time.
Yeah, and I was just saying, if I had to pick a winner based on where I think the strategy in this race is going to go, I'd put my money on Ben Tusting.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're in the best position right now, depending on what happens from here forward.
Yeah, because everybody north of Paul Robinson on that list has not pitted, so
Correct.
the guys behind surely have got a jump on all of them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Unless they've got solar-powered cars.
yeah. Tice, Martin, and John. Well, even if they can do it on one stop, they're going to have to take on more fuel. So they need to build as much of a gap as they can. And while Tice obviously had a significant gap at the beginning of all this, he's going to need to do it again, and he's going to probably need to do it even bigger than he had done. So he needs to hope that Martin is not able to keep up with him and bother him, because if he is, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and Jamie Jeffrey will be further down the listing due to exceeding the pit lane speed limit.
Oh dear.
And Ben Cullen's right down there as well. Why is that?
He said he's going to be coming through the field as well. I don't know what he did. Maybe he put tires on?
Yeah, hello to Chris Jackson on the chat.
Ben, I think Ben also took tires on his pit stop at Spa to try and make positions up. I don't want to be rude to Ben, but actually, yes, I do. That's a stupid decision. And we're 12 laps into this race. I really don't think tires are going to make a difference.
Okay,
he had some damage to take. Okay.
Pace car coming in.
Here we
Sorry,
go.
Ben. That's less stupid now.
Single file restart in theory. And he's away. Ty Simons has launched it.
And his teammate got a good jump on Martin Versluven there. I think Foot will have a look into turn one. The Chimera drivers look like they're going to swap places. No, they've sorted it out. But now...
I was going to say, when they went wing to wing, that wasn't a smart thing to do, but let's see what happens.
They're all piling into turn one.
That was Paul Robinson that just put a pass on, who was that, Roy Baburka?
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Off spotted belt.
Yeah.
Saying, see, Bill, you and your big mouth, I can do it.
Well, Hoff on the chat has been begging you to talk more, Bill, so...
Yeah, so we're going to go to Thailand.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with him. He thinks I don't know whether I turn on his girlfriend or what, but he just, I don't know. The golden tones of Bill, yeah, right. Looked like I fell out of a tree. Come on.
If you're going to turn on his girlfriend, I think you have to plug her in first, but I didn't say that. Anyway.
You're terrible.
That's a very snazzily painted Ferrari, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's nice. I like that. Well done, Roy. Or whoever your painter is.
Who says blue and orange doesn't go together? They're full of it.
Oh, it's quite nice.
I'm not a Mets fan.
He's about to get Chimera, I think, because...
I'm surprised the two Chimera drivers haven't been able to make up any ground on the start here. I think they had tried... if I am guessing correctly what happened, I think they tried to swap position, but they realized they were going to swap positions before the line, and that would be a penalty, right. And I think that cost them time. So now they're stuck behind some of the drivers still here as we head into lap number 2 since the restart.
And Tyler, couldn't have been difficult to try to exchange like that with people thundering down behind you. You could have lost a lot of spots if you weren't careful.
Of course, and Vervaeke is not making it easy either.
No, he's going into his lines. He's doing well.
Now Jamie has a run. I think he's going to be able to get it done. I don't think Ben's going to be able to follow, though, into the chicane here.
Oh, and Roy's stopping him. Or he is doing at the moment, anyway. He's going to lose out here.
I think that was a mistake by Roy because he set himself up to the outside here. And that's going to cost him more than just backing off would have. Adam Watson trying to make his way through as well, but he's in a bad position there.
That was close. That was closer than close. Oh, no.
Oh, baby. They both went off. Wow.
Oh, and another car went as well.
Jeremiah McClintock was involved as well.
So also, what's going on at the top of the hill there?
Wow, that was ugly. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think there's any blame to be apportioned, but I do think if I was in Adam Watson's shoes, I would have backed out of that long before the contact happened.
So there's 2 cars there. We know who they are. And then
You're
there's a
right, Tyler.
yellow car in the background. Yes, it's Jeremiah McClintock.
Whoa! You know, you're right, Tyler. I mean, he had no escape there either. You know, he kind of put himself
Here. Oh, he got a nudge.
Oh, yeah, he sure did. Huh.
So that's changed the race significantly for those guys at least. There's a very wide McLaren there as well. Somebody greased the track there or something. What's going on?
It's certainly a tricky corner because the camber falls off as you crest that hill.
It does,
it's very, very easy to run wide there for sure.
For sure, being bullish, getting through.
Indeed, yeah, he's finally moving his way forward here. Obviously started kind of well down the order in the pro class,
And
which is not going to help his championship hunt.
No, true. And whilst we started out with 6 in the top, 6 Audis in the top, 6 spaces, we've got most of them further back now because of the pit stops and other incidents. With just Ty Simons and Jonathan Foote still in the top 6. Speaking of which, Jonathan Foote chasing down Martin Verschluven for 2nd place. Ty Simons has eked himself out a 2.3 second lead already.
Yeah, Paul Robinson's hanging in there pretty well, I gotta say. I have to take back what I said. He's doing a marvelous job.
He's doing a good job, yeah.
He really is. He really
yeah.
is. My statement was unfounded. Sorry about that, Paul. You're doing excellent. Keep going, buddy.
Well, and the good news for if you're Ty Simons is the quicker of the Chimera cars is now out of this race, as is his teammate Adam Watson, who was rapid and who had already made his stops. So probably the 2 toughest challengers for Tice, who had made their pit stop and were on what I think is the better strategy, are now out of this race in one incident. So Tice is looking a lot better than he was a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, definitely. And sadly, Adam Watson has left the session due to the damage to his car, so he won't be back with us.
That's too bad. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was the Ferrari of Chris Shaw that gave Jeremiah McClintock a nudge as well.
Well, it made him faster. Chris Shaw seems to be doing better now.
Certainly did.
Marcus Blett's working on his teammate Marco Lewert here for 11th overall and 9th in pro.
He does look to be doing some aggressive manoeuvres, doesn't he? So I don't think there's team orders necessarily here.
Oh, you know these guys want to beat each other. These guys have this little thing going.
Right.
I know in German drivers the way I do. Let me tell you, they don't want to be on the back end.
Minerale. It's a weird corner, isn't it? It kind of falls away from under your feet. It's weird.
It's a tough corner.
I get it right 1 time in 20 if I'm lucky.
Better than I do.
Yeah, I find there are a few corners like that around Imola that just kind of give up on exit, and they make it really difficult to judge the speed you're carrying through by the way the banking falls away from you.
Yeah, the Rivazza, which is the last 2 turns together. I do like Italian tracks because the little complexes of turns get a name, and I kind of like that. But those 2 left-handers, they feel like that, even though they're flat. It's very strange.
Take it easy, Jamie.
Oh yeah, Jamie really wants to get by Paul Robinson here.
Yeah,
and Robinson really doesn't want him to. So
yeah, Jamie will know there's a massive advantage to being ahead of this car.
Yeah, it seems track position is worth more than I expected, and I probably should have known that, given how tough it is to pass around Imola. The drivers who stayed out and are holding those positions are doing a really good job of hanging on here. Obviously, there's no tire advantage for the cars that stopped, so it's not like they're going to... I was expecting them to cut their way through, but I was expecting, like we see here, the pro drivers to get by the AM drivers with much more ease than we're seeing.
Yeah, and you're right with what you say. I find at Imola, probably not more than any other track, but it's more prominent here for me, is corners tighten up very quickly. So the track feels hideously wide when you, for instance, come out of the hairpin. But then by the time you get to Acqua Minerale, you've got one line. That's it. Just one line. And if you're not on it, you lose. You're either too wide or you're going too slow, and you get mud.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's a very well-designed track, isn't it?
It is.
Are you eating, Bill?
I am. Thank you.
What is it that you're eating?
It's walnut and cranberry bread. It's really good.
That sounds excellent.
Good for my figure.
As long as round is a figure, folks, then yeah.
I'm proud to say I'm not quite as round as I used to be.
No, you know.
But when I have these kind of snacks, it doesn't help. Yeah.
Oh,
There's. Let me tell you, that's a tough spot. That's caused a lot of problems today.
It has, yes.
Adam Wright, I think, is another one of those drivers who feels he's a lot further back than he should be, and he's really working. These VTS cars know how to hold their ground, it seems. Paul Robinson defending from Jamie Wilson, Marco Lewert defending from his teammate, and now Marcus Bletz defending on Adam Wright. They maybe don't have the overall pace that we see from, for instance, the Paceworks drivers, but they are fighting hard for every position they can and doing a good job of it.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I tell you, the VTS guys, I know they're, in different countries and stuff, but I think they practice a lot together and they practice this kind of stuff, and it's really important. Your style or whatever you want to say really makes a difference when you practice with people. It really does.
Oh, absolutely, Bill. Yeah, practicing on a track with other drivers who can give you a challenge is super important to
absolutely
develop. It's one thing to find the right line around a racetrack, and it's another thing to find how to comfortably drive on the wrong line, because
exactly
in a race with a lot of other cars, you're going to be on the wrong line more times than not.
Exactly.
So it's super helpful.
You're not going to get the right line all the time, for sure.
Absolutely. The battle is on for second between Jonathan Foote and Martin Verschluven.
Yeah, he's very much on him now. That was wide as well from.
Yeah, he might get a penalty or an extra for that one.
This is a crowded house right here. Look at this.
Oh.
And it's another VTS car on the defensive.
And this time it's Jacob LeBrun.
Oh, baby. Whoa.
Careful, boys. They've never heard of netcode, have they? Never.
I'm amazed they all made it through there. Wow.
The McLaren is pretty stellar on the brakes, and Ralph Cullinan was demonstrating it there, but he wasn't able to hold on.
Jonathan
Verschluven out wide.
Verschluven is.
He's going to get this back, I think. He's going to get it back. He's on the right line.
Oh, dear.
Nudge. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Hang on to it.
I may have just cursed Martin Verschluven. I'm not sure.
You did.
Martin, it's Pete's fault. Just remember.
Oh, and that's Wilson and Verbeek through on Robinson.
Yep. 2 for 1 in this store, folks.
Verschluven is now dropped behind Sluter and Van Englenhoven as well, so he finds himself in 5th.
Yeah, he'll have ended up facing the wrong way, I think.
I was going to say, I think Jamie Wilson was toe dancing on his dashboard trying to get by Paul Robinson well.
Yeah.
Nice camera angle. That's a nice one.
That is a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Minute I said that, Sam changed it. Said, nope, you can't watch this.
Well, I cannot use this one because it's a scenic camera, not a TV camera.
Yeah, I know.
It's just because I focused on one of the guys that left the session. I saw a small gap between them, and I thought they were fighting, but Adam was one, and then Ben is still running, but Adam is out.
Yeah, Ben's still in it. He's picking people off slowly, but yeah.
Yeah, this is why we have this wonderful camera, but it's not gonna work well.
Yeah. So this is AAA about to put a move on Charles Kellyman, I think that is. Yes, it is.
Well, and AAA's been moving forward since his lap 1 incident, which put him in last. He's worked his way past half of the field now, up to 15th overall.
Yeah, and good to see Kevin De Winter, after everybody has tried to nerf him today, still going and picking up places.
He must feel like a billiard ball today. Holy moly.
Verschluven's gotten back by Van Englenhoven for 4th place. Van Englenhoven's doing well, though. He's doing what he needs.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, he's the only one who hasn't made a stop yet, but he's doing what he needs to do and building a gap to everybody behind him.
Simsport guys together.
I think that's a team order.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
That was a multi-42 because the 21 doesn't go. Oh, what's that?
Goodness gracious.
Daniel
Daniela
Guiducci again.
Guiducci and Ben Tusting. No, it wasn't.
No, it was Jacob Lebrun.
Jacob.
Wow. And Dan just didn't brake.
Whoa!
Oh, he broke on the grass.
Yeah, that's going to end up in tears 100% of the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jacob was the innocent bystander there.
Yeah, that's sad. The Audi's like indestructible. It didn't look like it had any damage on it at all.
Oh, that is Paul on Paul there.
Yep.
Robin working his way past, or Burgess working past Robinson, excuse me. And Chris Shaw wants to see if he can take them both in one corner.
Yeah, as does Marco Lewert, who's...
Oh boy!
Oh, no!
And the three Lamborghinis stuck through there.
Yeah, VTS came out the winner and all that, but it was Paul Robinson getting on the curves and just tagging Paul Burgess, and
some
net code with Chris Shaw as well.
Whoa, look at that.
How those other guys got through there without hitting anybody, I have no idea. Chris Shaw's going to be a bit annoyed by that.
Yeah,
I would imagine so.
There's more going on.
That's a Lamborghini that time. So that's Marcus Bletz who's had trouble.
With a teammate, I think.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what all their colors are. We got to replay now here. Oh dear. Oh no, it was Lewert who got run into by Bletz.
Right.
And Adam Wright says, thank you very much.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, he's away, yeah.
I have to leave you fine folks for a couple minutes. I'll be right.
Yeah, no problem. I don't think Bill has a cat, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
So now it's Robinson versus Wright for the second place as it stands in AM, and then depending how far behind Barry Van Englenhoven they are, could very well be for the lead once we see the round of pit stops, which should be coming up in the not too distant future for the drivers who are trying to do one stop.
Jamie Jeffrey on the inside of... Is that John Redwine?
It is indeed, yeah. Yet another VTS Lamborghini. It seems like there's 100 of them in this race.
Yeah.
But,
every one of them's a different colour.
Right, and they're just all at the center of the action at the moment. Here is Marcus Bletz with his another teammate behind him, Stefan Goebbels.
Yeah, they've all got to be worried now. Apparently blue on blue's all right in that team.
Apparently, as Shaw works his way by to Winter, Jeffrey not able to get by Redwine, so that pass is undone, I suppose, because he was ahead of him, was he not?
He was ahead, yeah, and then he's been done on the straight. Unless he had a slowdown or something, I'm not sure.
It's possible, yeah, it is possible to pick him up in that final corner, as I was saying at the beginning.
Oh dear.
Shaw around the outside of Ralph Cullinan, and they nearly come together. I really love the paint on Ralph Cullinan's McLaren. That is pretty.
That is nice, isn't it?
I'm a fan of all things blue and yellow, so that works on every level for me. But but he's
has he just gone sideways?
Yeah, he's done well to hang on to it, but he'll lose quite a few positions.
Yep.
Commentator's curse, I suppose.
That was a big piece of curve from Jamie Jeffrey, but he's back in front of John Redwine again.
Yeah, that he is. And we'll see if he can kind of run away with it at this point.
Yeah, and here at Alta, you have to take a lot of curb. And that was a lot of curb from Jamie Jeffrey. Paul Burgess having a good look down the inside of Carl Hardy.
Yeah, BMW on BMW here, and Paul trying to get back forward. He was running in the top 10 before the incident we saw with Paul Robinson.
Yeah, that's right. Paul on Paul.
Indeed it was.
Hi guys, I was going to say that the Paul Burgess is doing pretty well in that Edsel, isn't he? Jeez, not too bad.
Yeah, for sure, especially for his first run in the car, at least in this league. He's done well today. Fortunately, I think Yaz hasn't been as lucky. His teammate was down in 28th. at the moment. But there's Yaz.
Yeah, and he's. I think he's kept his race clean, which generally in the first race you ever do is a good start. If you know what I mean.
It is, yeah, and as there is the pass
That was
from
a nice
Paul
pass,
on Carl. Yeah, I think Carl might have let him have the inside there.
Could be.
He did,
Get the
yeah, he
move
let
done.
him go. Yeah.
But yeah, Yaz has done well, and he certainly qualified well, given his relative newness to the league and the car.
I'll tell you, he's got a pretty good sense of humor, that guy, too. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Whoa!
More trouble for Dan,
Big bump.
unfortunately.
Big
Yeah.
bump. He hit that curve pretty hard. Whoop! Just exited. I don't know if he exited, but he kind of
Reset, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw none of that on my screen. My screen just did the strobing thing. Oh, there we go. I can see it on the broadcast.
He's had a lot of fun today. He might be hanging it up. You never know.
Yeah, he's been in his share of incidents, unfortunately. Some his fault and some not. So
Yeah. So what do we have? We have Ty Simons out a little over 5, almost 6 seconds ahead, huh? Wow.
Yeah, he's stretching his lead quite quickly, actually. Jonathan Foote in second place, Tom Sluter in third, Martin Verschluven in fourth for Pro. And then still in Pro, Jamie Wilson is sixth on the track, but fifth in class.
And that Wilson gap is the important one to look at because that's the first driver who's made a pit stop. And as we are at the halfway point in this race, these drivers should be able to make it on one stop, the ones who didn't make their pit stop already. So I don't think there's going to be 16 seconds of fuel difference between Tice Simons and Jamie Wilson. So I think Tice is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Travel time through
just take
pit
into
lane.
account the time spent behind the safety car tire. I think the mid-race for fuel is more in 5 minutes. You should take
Oh,
into
for
account
sure.
the
Yes,
safety.
yeah. It's close,
It's
for
close,
sure,
yeah,
but
sure.
it's not there yet.
Yeah, you've also got the trip down pit lane to take into account as well.
There's a pretty long pit lane here.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Isn't
yeah.
the blink, is
That's
it?
Ty? No, that's Jonathan.
It's everyone
Oh,
but
there's a
Tice
few.
is in, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And that, as Sam was saying, we are very close, so they must be pretty marginal on making it on one stop. I kind of get the feeling they're going to have to make 2. If Tice can stretch it one more lap, it's going to be very close.
Yeah, Tice could probably make it on one stop, even if he stopped at this one, if he managed to save fuel enough, but the other one I think they will have to make another stop.
Yeah, and of course the tough part for Tice is he's still going to have to save fuel in the second part of this race, while a lot of the drivers who made their pit stop will not. Obviously, Tice seems to be pretty quick while saving fuel, so I don't think that's too much of a concern.
Saving fuel, yeah.
Pete, I was wondering, do you think that Tice is related to Michael Talianich?
No, Michael Paliancic really does have solar-powered cars.
Oh my God!
Or fueled on water or something. I don't know what the deal is with that.
I just want to highlight Adam Wright, who has made his stop, currently third on track. I don't know how he worked his way through all the VTS cars without getting caught up in some of their incidents. But
Well, when you look at where the Audis are that started the race in the top 6, Jonathan Foote's currently in 24th, Ben Tusting's in 27th, the Ferrari of Martin van Schluven is in 27th now. Who else was up at the front at the start? Adam Watson's unfortunately.
Okay, we got Ty Simons in the pits, guys.
Here we go. So all the action has been at the very front of the field in terms of all the bad action, if you want to term it that way.
I could slow down for Chris Shaw, sorry, because Ben Cullen just flew by him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Chris likes Ben that much.
But yeah, so now, Pete, of course, a lot of those guys didn't stop with the first round of pit stops. Jonathan Foote, Martin Verschluven, Tom Sluter, Barry Van Englenhoven. So if, and it's a big if, but if they can make it on one stop, they'll be in all right shape. but it's definitely looking good for, Adam Wright. Paul Robinson has managed to hold on pretty well in AM, having made his stop just before the safety car came out. So
yeah, absolutely. So this is Frank T-Bosch getting chased down by Jacob LeBrun. And we saw Jacob... did we see Jacob getting turned before, or did he...
Yeah, he was the one who got
right,
torpedoed by Dan, as Dan
that's right.
or wasn't able to slow down for Aqua Minerale. That is wide but allowed for, I believe that's Paul Robinson there in the Lamborghini. Here
may have picked up a 1X there, but he won't get slowed down that wide. You can get one there though, can't you?
If you're really, really wide, yeah. But you actually can use quite a bit of that runoff without picking up a 1X. Ben Tusting has just got by Jonathan Foote, but Ben still needs to make a pit stop, I believe.
Right.
Ty Simons is in 21st at this point.
Yeah, Ben has not stopped yet. Obviously, he had his incident with Adam Watson, so he is well behind. Triple A's had a nice recovery.
I was going to say,
Yes,
Triple A's moving his way forward. He's got Stefan Goebel in his sights at the moment.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see where all these people slot in with the drivers who have just made their stop, because, as I have said, they'll have to take less fuel, and of course there's the potential that those drivers might have to stop again or save quite a bit of fuel. So while AAA is probably not a net 6th as it stands, he could very well be higher than he was running, probably potentially in the top 10.
And that's Kevin De Winter being allowed to take a position by Carl Hardy. Carl Hardy clearly trying to keep a clean race.
Not such a bad strategy.
It's not, no. You can pick up positions naturally by the fact that you're clean and others aren't.
That's right, exactly.
Well, and as it stands, this is the battle for 4th and 5th in AM, which is solid for these guys who are looking for points, especially with the trouble we've seen today for Jeremiah McClintock, who was involved in that incident with Ben and Adam. Lots of opportunities to pick up points for these guys.
Absolutely.
Well, I think he was involved in an incident with Chris Shaw, and then became part of the incident.
Yes, yeah, fair enough. So I'm showing Yaz as the first of the drivers who came in under the yellow to make his second pit stop. He's just been in and out now. Presumably he thinks he can go to the end from here, and I don't know why he wouldn't be able to, as we're now 52 minutes into this race. But I wonder if we'll start seeing other drivers make their final pit stop now.
Yeah, give you a little more time to make up whatever you lose, too. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would. It's a fair point.
I mean, splash and go with 2 or 3 laps to go, unless you're like got an afterburner, it's almost impossible to make up the time you lose.
As that is Carl letting Ben and Chris go by as well.
Yeah, unless Carl is trying to fuel save for some reason, but I don't see why he would do.
No, I think Carl is just knows what his pace is and is comfortable to ride in behind these guys.
And Ben Tusting is making his way forward quite quickly, as you would expect.
Yeah, but of course keeping in mind that he will have to stop. So he will drop back some of these positions he's gained.
Yes, true. Whereas Ty Salmons, who is on track in front of him, I think, won't have to, or might, depending on how his fuel saving might have to go. That is a nice coloured car, isn't it?
It is Ralph Cullinan, yeah.
Ralph Cullinan, yeah.
It spits flames too, yeah. Why the new McLarens didn't make their exhaust like that's beyond me.
on a Ferrari always on, or is that something that you button tether?
What was that, Pete? You cut in kind of in the middle of your sentence there.
Oh, did I? Right, okay. What's with the crack with the headlights on the Ferrari and the BMW? Is that something that you can control independently in iRacing? Because
believe
the
so. They're always
McLaren,
on.
right? Because the McLarens are not on.
Yeah, as far as I know, the newer cars have the kind of always-on headlights. The McLarens only come on at night.
Right.
And then the Lamborghini has the setup option to put the endurance headlights on.
Oh, that's so annoying. It's so annoying. Why is there a motorbike following me down the track? Oh, no, it's not. It's a Lamborghini. They've got one bright headlight right in the middle of the car, haven't they?
Yeah, I think I know you and I, Pete, are both running, and Sam as well. We're all running the Daytona 24, and I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, we are. It's not going to be great, it has to be said. Oh, dear.
Well, you just have to pen them out before they start running in the night.
Before the night's
Exactly.
For any iRacing overlords that are listening, we are not actually going to be punting.
Yeah,
any
that's
Lamborghinis.
just a joke. Huh? Okay.
Any Lamborghini punting that happens is purely coincidental.
Yeah.
But
Or
here's
just
the
down
ball.
to my lack of skill.
yeah, if that
Sorry,
really
oh,
happens, we will look so stupid.
Yeah.
Ralph would really like to get by Charles Kellyman here.
Yeah, he's eager, isn't he? Oh, here we go. It's the VTS
Marcus
boys again.
Blood.
And AAA observing from afar, or a close, as the case would be.
Yeah. I think this VTS car here is sponsored by Target.
Oh man.
That was very, very close.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was
Excellent
Paul Robinson ceding positions to his teammates in AAA, saying, "I'm also here as well."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How did AAA get through there without hitting anybody is beyond me. Boy.
I think he was wearing a false tash and a fake nose and went,
Oh
excuse
my
me.
goodness.
Yes, I am VTS as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. So here is Versleuven, but he
Yeah.
already made a
already-
stop.
This is a
Yeah.
penalty.
Huh.
Or
Oh,
he
Drive
knew he
through.
was going to have to make a splash, so he's making it early.
I wonder if it's
oh, right, okay. Thanks
Well,
for the
I'll-
camera work, Sam.
See how long he stops in his box.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
That looks like more than a splash to me. So, no, 8
Alright.
seconds. Yeah. So just a splash of fuel, it looks like, for Martin Versleuven, which is worrying to all of the other drivers who stopped on the
Yeah.
same lap as Martin. Kind of gives us an indication they're going to struggle to make this.
So this
So
is Simon
good.
Chester getting a lot of attention from our one-time Tice Simons race leader.
Yeah, now you wonder even if Tice can make it, because he pit just one lap later than Martin. And Martin was stopped for a good 8 seconds there. And that's more than just a lap of fuel, I have to say.
Right, okay.
It's gonna be it's not going to be easy for Tice, I don't think. Paul Burgess in the pits.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
very possible that Tice is just saving fuel here as well.
Looks like it. Just
Whoa!
Whoa! Hey!
He almost went for a ride.
Yeah, someone's greased that bit of track as well. Oh, and who's this coming up here? This is Ben Tusting.
Ben Tusting, yeah, on Jacob Lebrun, 2 cars who have had some big incidents today.
Yeah. But Ben Tusting was once upon a
Coming
time.
to that famous spot. Here we go.
Yeah.
Gonna be another closey.
They're opening a GT3 spares shop just on that corner there.
Really?
So Paul was the first of the cars.
Oh.
That's trouble for Paul Robin, the other Paul,
Yeah.
and he'll lose a spot to his teammate. But just noting Paul Burgess, who stopped, is the first of the cars who stopped under the safety car to stop again. Took about 8 seconds less fuel than all of the drivers trying to one-stop it. So probably looking at about an 8-second delta for the drivers who did not make their stop. or made their stop under the safety car compared to the drivers who did not.
So, I don't know whether it's just because I lack the inherent intelligence to work this out, but I don't know who's going to win this race anymore.
Yeah, it really all comes down to if Tice Simons can save enough fuel, because he had a massive gap over Jamie Wilson. I believe it was about 16 seconds when he made his pit stop, and he's been lapping fairly quickly as well. So if Tice doesn't have to make his way down pit lane again, because it's with just a splash, it's still about 45 seconds you lose there. If he can save enough fuel, as he looks like he's letting Jamie Wilson's teammate Ben Tusting by here potentially. If Tice can save enough fuel, then I think he's in good shape over Jamie. But if he's a little bit too marginal on that fuel and has to make it splash, goodness gracious!
Wow, that was unbelievably close.
Yeah, so what we're actually seeing here, I think, is Ben Tusting trying to play the spoiler to Tice, and making him put the pedal to the metal here because it'll benefit his teammate Jamie Wilson, who leads this race right now.
Yep, very much, and he leads it by 5 seconds at the minute, so it's probably very worthwhile. If you were Tice Simons and you knew that you didn't have to pit again and the car behind you did, you'd just let them go though, right?
I would think so, yeah. I have to believe you would, especially someone with Ben Tusting's pace. Just sit behind him, use his toe to save a little bit more even.
So this particular strategy that I'm seeing on screen at the minute doesn't make any sense to me. My brain isn't calculating this very well.
Well, maybe Ty's competitive juices have shifted gears here,
Or maybe he's more comfortable on fuel than we think he is. Maybe he's been saving aggressively, and now he thinks he can make it to the end. I'm sure he's got a fuel calculator, or if he's like Gary, he's got about 12 fuel calculators running.
Yeah.
He can.
And the crew chief and race and all the others.
And just, his friend with a calculator standing behind him, or his cat maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, Pete, being Gary's teammate, probably when they're talking in her phone, he probably says, "Look, I don't know what you're doing. Just tell me what you're doing. I'll do what you do."
That is exactly how that works.
I know, Pete, I'm like you. I know exactly what you're doing. I knew it.
Based on the Discord discussions, it sounds like that's going to be the strategy of the entire TCR field from here on out. So we've got a few cars in pit lane now.
We do, yes.
We sure do.
Ben Cullen, John Redwine, Jamie Jeffrey, Roger Morton, Paul Robinson, all AM cars making their second pit stop of the race.
Oh, Ben Tusting's really dogging Ty Simons right now.
Adam Wright was in as well, and crucially has come out ahead of Barry Van Englenhoven, who was one of the cars who was the only AM car who stayed out during the safety car period.
Yeah, and that reminds me that there's 2 races going on, isn't there? And we're speaking a lot about the overall race winner, but there's the AM class winner to be decided yet as well.
Sorry, Pete. Jamie Wilson's in the pits, so this is going to be big. Where does Jamie slot in amongst the drivers who have made their, in theory, one and only pit stop? It's Tice Simons, Ben Tusting, who we believe needs to stop again, and Jonathan Foote. Tice and Jonathan, the only drivers who came out ahead of Adam Wright. So Adam is looking in really good shape here.
So Jamie had like 17 seconds or something daft over Marcus. Oh, Marcus is also in the pits. So
yeah, everybody is in the pits. It looks like.
Everybody.
Everybody who hasn't made their stop yet is in
Jamie's
the pits. And where is Tice? Tice is just exiting the final corner now.
This is going to be close.
It's going to be very close, which is bad news for Tice. Surely he's been saving heavily.
Oh, this is going to be so close.
They're going to get by him, I think.
And Jamie's teammate Ben Tusting is battling Tice right now, and because
he's going to get by him.
He is, and because this is a battle on track for position, there's no reason for Ben to let Tice by.
Absolutely.
So he can just kind of sit here and hold Tice up.
And that may well be what we see. Oh, look at this. It's like Monday morning on the M25.
This race has really played out excitingly, I have to say.
Yeah.
The strategy has really come full circle and is looking like it's going to be quite dramatic as we enter the final half hour of this race.
I'm glad you know what's going on, Tyler.
I do what I can. Of course, I could be totally wrong. And oh, who's that? It's Tice.
Tice.
Oh,
How did that happen?
that hurt. Wow.
So he wasn't near anybody.
He just sailed it into Aqua Minerale. Exactly what we
boy.
saw happen to Dan Giudice. Fortunately, Jamie Wilson was, or I'm sorry, Ben Tusting was far enough ahead of him.
Yep.
But now this battle between, well, now it's Jonathan Foote and Jamie Wilson for what we expect to be the overall race lead.
Wow.
And as it stands right now, a Team Chimera 1-2.
And that was very un-Simons-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just dipped his wheel off just a little bit, and he was gone.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, though.
No, it doesn't. He's dropped to 4th.
Which is not the end of the world by any means, but it will be to him.
Behind Jonathan Foote.
Well, not only will it be difficult just to make up these places, because we've seen how hard it is to pass here. Of course, Foote should make things easy given their teammates, but he, in theory, has to keep saving fuel as well. So he's got to somehow work his way past at least one of, if not both of the Team Chimera cars
That could be
while
tough.
saving fuel.
That's
I don't think that goes together somehow.
It
Sorry, Bill.
doesn't sound real probable, to be honest.
Well, he's through on his teammate now. Jonathan let him by there, I have to believe.
Well, you know, with 20 or 25 minutes, I'm surprised he didn't run behind him a little bit, maybe save a few liters or whatever.
Well, the
Somehow
problem is Jonathan is
Alright.
working on fuel than Tice is, because he pit a lap before Tice and also stayed out under the safety cars. So if anyone needs to save aggressively, it's going to be Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to update everybody, as it stands, Ben Tusting, well, I don't have the exact lap he stopped, but it was before everybody. Thank you, Sam, if we can get that up. So Ben Tusting has last stopped on lap 14. He came in under the safety car as well, but that's 10 laps before all the drivers attempting one stop. So in all probability, we're going to see Ben in the next 4 or 5 laps. That leaves Jamie Wilson, who we know is good on fuel. Tice Simons, who is better on fuel than the other cars who are trying to one-stop this, but not great. Jonathan, yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, battle's going on. Jonathan Foote, who is not good on fuel, and now, this is critical. Tom Sluter is in pit lane.
I was just going to say he just pitted, yeah.
Yeah, he is another one of those cars who stopped on lap 24, so that really is not looking good for Jonathan Foote, Barry Van Englenhoven, or Roy Verveek, who are the 3 drivers who stopped on lap 24, and it means that Tice Simons' life is going to be all that more difficult as he needs to save fuel to make it to the end of this race.
Absolutely.
So
he's got 3 seconds to make up to get to the car in front, which is Jamie Wilson at the minute, I think.
with the reverse of that, the drivers who can push flat out from here on out are Jamie Wilson, who runs in 2nd, Adam Wright, who runs in 5th, but 1st in Pro-Am, and Marcus Bletz and Abdul Al-Amri. So AAA, who was in last place at the end of lap 1 in this race, is potentially looking at a pro-class podium.
Oh, who is that?
Now that's the other Paceworks car.
In the same place as Tice Simons.
Wow.
Got back in time.
And it is all unraveling here for the Paceworks guys late in this race.
It is, yeah. Oh dear. Too much speed into the first part of Aqua Minerale.
Same song, second verse for a Paceworks Audi there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and to be fair to him, he got out of the way, so
All right, Ben Tusting's in the pits.
Yeah, so this was expected. Yeah, Ben was never going to make it, having stopped after his incident on lap 14. Will be interesting to see where he slots out, because I'd imagine it's somewhere towards the mid-pack. So he's definitely made up some spots from where he was after that incident.
Yeah,
I'd expect him to be somewhere around Charles Kellyman, Tom Sluter.
Unless I'm going mad, I think that Ty Simons is closing down Jamie Wilson rapidly.
I wouldn't be surprised. Tice's pace has been better than that of Jamie Wilson for most of this race. The question, of course, is can he make it on fuel? That is tight into the second to last corner. That is Charles Kellyman and Tom Sluter. So this is kind of where you'd expect Ben Tusting to pop out, except Ben is already out well ahead of these guys. So
yes,
I got my numbers very wrong there.
You can be forgiven just this one time, though.
Oh, thank you. So,
yeah, but he might have taken less fuel than you expected, also.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's a very good point, Bill, because he had already made that one stop on lap 14. You're right. So he was only stopped in the box for 17 seconds, about 11 less than everybody else.
Yeah, the Wilson and Simon show is getting really close now.
It's on now. And I don't know how much resistance is going to be offered here.
Well, it's got to be tough if you're Jamie Wilson, right? Because you don't know if Tice can make it.
No.
And the way Tice is pushing, he's very confident that either he can or can't make it. But it's not telling because he would be pushing this hard if he could make it. And if he knew he couldn't, he'd also be pushing this hard.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got Jamie Wilson's inset camera, folks, to experience what's going on from the cockpit of the car.
So the mind of Jamie Wilson right now is got to be working a mile a minute to try and figure out, as Van Englenhoven has stopped. He was another one of those lap 24 stoppers.
That looked like a 1X for Tice just then.
He won't be bothered about those, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know Jamie Wilson really well. We've talked to him a few times, but my opinion is he's a go-getter. I don't think he's going to roll over and let Ty Simons easily go by.
He's a good tactician as well. He can.
That's true.
Figures out fuel very accurately and what tactic he needs to adopt at different points in the race. So we'll see what goes on. He's no slouch either. He's a very accomplished driver.
Yes, he is, and I'll tell you, like you said, he's really abreast of everything that's going on, and you know, when he comes on the interviews with a ham and egger like me, I wish he'd speak English so I could understand what the hell he was talking about.
And it might be that Ty Simons has just decided, you know what, I'll get onto the back of him and then I'll sit there and I'll save fuel behind the race leader.
That could be possible, yep.
And I know I'm probably inadvertently playing favorites here because he's a teammate, but how about the job that Adam Wright is doing in third place overall in that AM McLaren and looking potentially at a second place overall?
He's doing sensational.
Should Tice need to pit again? I mean, he has just been phenomenal today.
It's incredible, his current racing position, it has to be said.
From Adam Wright's driver coach, Tyler Newitt.
That's generous. I don't think Adam needs my help that much. I did, do some laps in McLaren just to see if I had anything to offer on the setup today. Hope I helped him a bit, but it was Adam who was quicker than me through most of the practice. So I don't think he needed my help all that much this week.
No, he's doing really well. Top AM guy right now too. In third place overall, amazing.
My opinion on this right now is that Jamie is towing Tice Simons.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Tice is here saving as much fuel as he can behind Jamie and waiting until he gets that fuel number that he's good to go, and then he's going to pounce.
Yep. So this is going to get very, very interesting. In about another, don't know how many laps, but it'll be in about 10.5 minutes or something. So, who else is a standout driver for you at the minute, Bill?
Tyler mentioned before, I'm kind of impressed with AAA. He's doing a good job today after, like Tyler mentioned, the first lap he was miles behind, and look at him, he's up in 5th place overall, and I don't think he's got any fuel issues, so he's good to go. Paul Burgess has kind of been a standout for me, and hats off to Kevin DeWinter. He's had a rough day, and he's still in the top 10. Good for him.
Yeah, Gary's just pointed out on the chat that Ty Simons is fuel saving very, very hard at the moment. Look at that, he's way off the gas early there. That's very, very early.
Well, both these guys up front right now, as you know, Pete, are both real chargers, and I'm impressed that he can have the restraint to hold back. It's got to be difficult for somebody that's super competitive, like these guys are. Yeah,
and I think what I said before about him speeding up to get on the back of Jamie Wilson and sacrificing that bit of fuel is going to pay off well for him.
Yep, I think you're absolutely correct.
I wonder what defense Jamie's got for Tice once Tice decides, right, I've got enough fuel.
Yeah, that could get pretty dicey.
Yes, it could, and we've already seen that Imola can deliver some crashes.
Yeah, some of the guys back third, fourth, and fifth stand by. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep. And this is Adam Wright on Jonathan Foote at the moment, and this is not for fuel saving. This is a full-on scrap. This one.
This is going like you're on fire. That's right. And Adam Wright is on fire. Coming out the back of his car.
So Adam Wright is doing a fantastic job at the moment.
Well, Foote is recovering from that spin we saw in Aqua Minerale. Yeah. But I don't think he can make it on fuel unless he has been saving hard, we haven't noticed.
When was his pit lap?
Lap 24, same as everyone else besides Tice trying to one-stop it.
Here's Chris Shaw. Oh, we just had Chris Shaw and Ben Tusting battling together.
On board with Jonathan Foote at the moment, and behind us is Adam Wright. Whether we see him show himself or not, I'm not sure. But if we stay on board with Jonathan... Oh, there we go. There he is behind.
There's Adam. He's kind of watching at the moment. The camera's a little deceptive. He looks like he's way back, and I tell you, he's not way back. Look at him close up. Wow.
Yeah, that concertina effect. Oh, that's wide.
Uh-oh, there he goes.
That's epic. Oh,
and in the wall. In the wall.
Ouch.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that wasn't planned.
Here comes AAA.
AAA to pick off somebody else, maybe. It was a full side swipe, so I don't know that it'll have done a great deal of damage.
Might have hurt his hemline a little bit, but I think he's okay.
Yeah, and possibly his ego a little, but there you go. And there it is. He got the bobble on that little bumpy thing on the corner. They're pure evil, them.
Unless you're in the GT4 Porsche, and then you just skip right over it, in my experience. But pretty much any car without 6 feet of ground clearance like the Porsche has, it's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
That's a BTS car around.
It is. I should know who that is. Isn't that Jacob?
That's
Stefan.
It is Stefan. Yeah, who was running second in AM.
Yeah, Jacob's in the lilac one. Yeah.
Yeah, so Stefan's handed second in AM to Kevin DeWinter.
He do this all on his own. Looks that way.
I really hope Kevin DeWinter gets a decent race finish because he's been beaten up.
Sorry, Foot in the pits. Foot is in the pits.
Oh.
Ooh.
Presumably for damage repair, but obviously we were concerned about his fuel anyway.
Who else is that? Is that Jimmy Jeffrey back there as well?
Chris Shaw is really hard on Ben Tusting right now, let me tell you.
Yeah. And this is for position now. Ben can make it to the end. So, trying to recover. I mean, Ben's been the quickest car in this race outside of Tice Simons, so he's doing everything he can to move his way forward and pick up some good points here.
Yeah, when you have that kind of race, when you get knocked out and you got to work your way back, you almost feel like, haven't I done this a couple times already today?
Yeah. I don't know what Roy Verwerk is going to do here because he's got two very fast cars behind.
Jamie Jeffries.
Oh dear.
That's out of the pits on cold tyres potentially.
Yeah, he's well off the pace now. which moves. Well, no, it doesn't move Ben Tusting, but Ben Tusting is now into the top 10.
Oh dear, he got a wiggle on and snapped on him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying with the McLaren. It can be, if you're not careful with the setup, it can be absolutely brutal on those curves, and he just caught it the wrong way.
He was offline a little bit, but it didn't look that bad. But I guess you're right there, Tyler.
Well, too much wheel lock, Bill, and certain cars can really thrash at you.
Yep. Yeah, the McLaren is not particularly forgiving if you get it upset.
So is there a prize for top Ferrari? Because if there is, these three here are fighting it out right now.
And they're putting on a show, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Yeah, I think the Dutchies guys just got the strategy wrong. Both Van Englenhoven and Versluven stayed out under the safety car, and I don't know if the Ferrari is a little worse on fuel mileage than the Audis, but they seem further off of it, further off the mark than the Audis were even. So it's kind of picking up the pieces of what could have been, because Versluven certainly had top 5 pace today, but now he's just scrapping for a top 10 at best, it looks like.
Yeah, he's down in 12th at the moment.
So here's Ty Simons going for Fuel Saver of the Year award, and doing a decent job of it so far.
Oh, well, yeah, if he can make it to the end, I'll be pretty impressed, to be honest, given how obviously he stopped a lap later than the cars who stopped on lap 24, but they have really struggled.
Whoa! A bit deep into that corner, though.
For sure.
Well, and it's so easily done if you're saving fuel too, because all of your braking points are different. And we heard him clutching it too, so that you don't have the engine braking factor.
That's right.
It's frankly, the job he's been doing is incredibly impressive, because a lot of other drivers saving as aggressively as he is would be doing that far more often.
I'll tell you another thing, when you tote behind somebody a little for a long time like that, you have a tendency to get a little mesmerized by the back of their car too. You got to be careful.
I've been guilty of that many times.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it's the target fixation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as a couple of recovering drivers, Stefan Goebel and Jonathan Foote battling here. I think Foote will get through before too long. Paul Burgess having to stop again. That's unexpected.
I didn't think he'd be in.
There goes Foote. Nope, he's not going to make it on that pass.
Chris Shaw takes over as top Ferrari.
Just 6 seconds stopped in the box for Paul, so he must have underfueled.
Yep,
here's Roy Vervaeke, the last of the lap 24. Nope, sorry.
Yeah.
It was Versluven. What's Versluven doing in pits again?
I don't know. He's not due.
No. Neither him nor Paul was due a pit stop, so.
No, and Jonathan Foote we saw trimming the verge, we call it here.
Whoa.
No,
that
who's that?
Right there.
Oh, there you go. There's your explanation.
Wow.
Yeah, so must be some damage for. Oh dear.
Look at the
that
state
car
of
is not going straight. No, it is not.
I only hope he's still got a
That's
fast repair.
Yeah, I don't think he had damage, contact damage earlier, but he's been in the pits for what is that?
But
a while now.
Yeah,
Pull the right rudder into it, Martin.
Yeah, totally. I've had my fast repair taken up by a very heavy fly hitting the windscreen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you don't turn it off, it'll use it for something.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, I think I remember seeing just a crumpled front quarter panel, or kind of a corner of the nose on Versluven's car earlier on in this race that I didn't see there. So might have been used up in that first stop on that. So he's been in the stall for over a minute now. So definitely taking full repairs is Mark Versluven. That's really going to hurt his championship, is it not?
Yeah, it's not going to help it for sure. You're right.
Was he leading coming? No, Tice is leading the championship.
No.
Yeah. But he was second, wasn't he?
Yes.
Or was Shaw second? I know they were in the top 3 area.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, sorry.
I think Jamie Wilson's in 4th, I believe.
Chris Shaw's second. Jamie Wilson's 4th. Yeah.
Martin Versluven 3rd?
Yep.
Okay. Now we're all sorted.
That's a very slow moving result card just behind there.
I saw Jamie Wilson. What the heck happened to Ty Simons?
That's a good question, Bill. Yeah, Tice is 3 seconds back from Jamie now.
Yeah.
So
Extreme fuel saving?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Either something happened or he is massively fuel saving.
Yeah.
His last lap was not unreasonably slow. It was about a second slower than Jamie, so I have to believe he is just hard on the fuel save here. What's happened to AAA? Oh no. Oh, just lost it. He's still running in 5th. He did lose a position there to Marcus Bletz, who he is about 2 seconds behind, so still a solid recovery for AAA.
He's doing real well today.
Looking at a top 5.
Yeah, he's not the first driver to have done that particular sliding maneuver today. So
seems to be catching right now, doesn't it?
If you were the the Lamborghini rather, that was coming around behind him, that's a code brown right there, isn't it? Kevin De Winter is doing a remarkable job for getting nerfed at least twice.
He certainly
will be in the top 10. I mean, what's going on here?
I don't want to discount Kevin's drive because he has done an excellent job, but he was fairly fortunate in that the first of the nerfing happened right before the safety car, and the second happened under the safety car. So obviously will have needed to use his faster pair on the rear end damage, but he did get helped out a bit by the safety car for sure.
But Tyler, when you almost feel when you get a complex from that after a while, God.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Ralph Cullinan trying to defend back against Jonathan Foote, I think that was.
Man,
well, yeah, there was quite a bit of bobbing and weaving going on.
Sure was.
Oh dear.
Sorry, Pete, but it's not Monza, Imola, other Italian guy.
Yes.
As Ralph fully cut the grass there.
Yeah.
It's just what it does to people because the front straight is so not straight. There's at least four kinks to it. So there's if you just kind of try and keep your line steady, you'll lose out massively. As that's Paul Burgess going by Stefan Goebbels.
Like he was going backwards.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a slowdown maybe, but
he must have.
Either that or went to the Bill Switzer School of Punting. Not sure.
Oh dear. I saw Jonathan Foote was trying to get the front of his car cooked by the flames out of the back of Ralph Cullinan's car before.
Yeah, they're trying to heat.
Oh, that's flipped around.
Oh, it is.
That looks like exactly what we saw with AAA, and we'll see if he had help here. Nope, lit up the tires, getting up on the curb a bit too much. Exactly what happened to AAA, but unfortunately he doesn't have an hour and a half to recover.
I wonder what the tire usage is like in that Audi.
I don't know for the Audi. I know Ben was saying, oh, that's Ralph Cullinan off.
Oh dear, what is going on?
Wow.
Oh, he might have had help there.
No, he didn't.
Just broke on the grass.
He just tried to get back on the track too hard, and he just...
Yeah.
Regarding your tire wear question, Ben Cullen in the chat had said that the BMW... That's Ben Englehoven getting sideways. I'm never going to get to finish this sentence because people are going to keep crashing. But Ben Cullen in the chat was saying that after 25 laps, the BMW was down to 65% on tire wear. I think that might just be Ben because no one else has stopped for tires. Oh, my goodness.
Unreal.
Oh, that's Marco Lewert around.
Good recovery.
Maybe Ben was not as far off as we thought, given everything we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Whoever it is that's put grease on the track, can you stop doing it, please?
No, keep doing it. What are you talking about, Pete? This is great.
Ben Tustin escaped a closey too when he came back across.
Ben Tustin, who had that massive incident with Adam Watson, is in 6th place. I just want to point out. And I know Adam was frustrated and he quit immediately, and there's a decent chance that he had used up his fast repair after the incident with Jamie Wilson. But if he hadn't, he must be looking at this and going, why didn't I stay in this race?
Totally. And the other thing with that is, I think he had more damage because he got rammed into by the Lamborghini.
No, that was Ben. That was Ben Tustin who got hit by the Lamborghini.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was. Yes, you're right. Sorry, yes.
So, it is possible, because I know he pit under the safety car, It's possible after his contact with Jamie Wilson, he had used up his faster pair.
Yes.
But if he hadn't, fair enough. If he left after that, I certainly would have. But
Here we go
if he
again.
hadn't, oh.
These two have been scrapping before in this race,
boy.
not recently,
Oh boy!
but they
Oh
were.
boy!
Well, Ralph kind of gave him that one. I don't
He
know if
did.
he's kind of nursing his car at this point.
Yeah.
I know the McLaren can be pretty rough on those tires as well, depending on how you have it set up. So
Well, Jamie Wilson now has a 8-second lead. Yeah, live.
That's unusual because Tice was only 3 seconds behind about.
Yeah,
5
but
seconds
he
ago.
might really like. I gotta
There's-
believe he's worrying. I think.
he has to be massively close on fuel and limping it home at this point.
So there's
I believe
Jamie.
we're on the last lap.
Yeah, we should be close to that. I was just gonna say that.
So I would like to ride on with Tice and see how much he is lifting.
Oh, what do you think?
Yeah,
Let's have a little bit of a lap then.
riding in behind the Lamborghini.
Oh.
Well, he's not lifting there. That's not unreasonably early.
No.
So perhaps he saved enough at this point. Maybe he was waiting on the white flag to make sure it wouldn't go an extra lap.
Maybe. But he's
It
not
was
gonna catch
Vivek is not
Jamie
going to
now.
make it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're joking. So he's pitting out of 10th place.
Yeah, and he's handed the best Ferrari place to Chris Shaw after that battle we saw.
Oh dear. I tell you what, this has been one of the most exciting races I think I've commented on for ages.
I've had a blast, absolutely. And how about Jamie Wilson? I mean, I said it was going to be one of the Camaro cars to
Yes,
win.
you did.
I picked the wrong one, but it.
I
they're
have
both-
just
they're
one
both
thing
pretty
to
close.
say. It's just because they put Backfire Simsport TV on their car instead
the
of
roof,
one on the
Yeah, I
road.
noticed that.
There
on the
you go.
roof, yeah.
You own us this victory, Jamie. Just kidding. You did a wonderful job. Just
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
Really, no, I mean a really stellar drive. From
And
Jamie.
here he comes now to take the checker for Team Chimera.
Wow,
Flashing
well
lights.
done. Well done, Jamie Wilson. Wow.
Excellent drive. Looks like Tice is going to make it in second.
Hey,
Yep.
still good points though. Not bad.
Yeah,
And
fantastic.
Adam Wright, unless he loses 11 seconds on the final straight, is looking at a overall podium and the AM class win.
Adam, way to go, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Good
brilliant
job.
work.
Wow, third place overall.
Bit of flashing lights there. The only
Oh,
time
that's
that's acceptable.
going for the top 5 in the second to last corner, and I think he's going to get it.
He's done it. Unless the tow down here is significant, which I know it's not.
No, and I think AAA might be out of fuel.
He
Yeah.
is coughing, yes.
His car sounds very silent.
Is he going to get
He's
done by anybody
almost to the
else?
line. Yes, he made it to the line, so he's going to
Alright.
just ahead of Michael Lewerk.
Wow.
Oh, what a race.
That was fantastic. And it's still going on, actually. So we've got Stefan Goebel and Barry van Englenhoven very close to him, but he's not going to be close enough.
Another good performance by Stefan.
And how
unfortunately,
about
and a couple
Carl
of hiccups.
Hardy? Carl Hardy picking up an AM podium and a top 10 overall after running his extremely cautious race. We
Yep.
said it
Yep.
was going to pay off for him, and it
It
did.
sure did.
It
Good
did.
for him. Yep. And Paul Burgess is going to come home 11th.
I just heard Carl say in the driver chat he ran out as he came out of the last corner. So
Well, I don't know that Ralph Cullinan's got much fuel in his car.
I think you're right. A lot of guys seeming to be very close
Oh,
on fuel.
dear. Look at this.
Collect.
It's only the fire coming out the back that's keeping it going.
Yeah, Roger Morton. How far behind is it? Oh, just missed it.
Oh, boy, that could have. Whoa.
Tremendous.
Goodness.
That's just crazy. I don't know who's in what position now. I really don't. And somebody crashed after they've crossed the pits.
I think it was Ben.
What was that?
It was Ben Cullen. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
I
my
think Ben
goodness.
was the last running car, so that's.
Here we go. Here,
Are we running it in?
Hey, here we go.
Fantastic. Just drove his way up the wall.
Genius.
Excellent.
Love it. Oh, that was good. So, That's possibly one of the most exciting races I've commentated on for a long time. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Absolutely agree. That was phenomenal.
Dear, I'm knackered.
Your results are on screen. I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
So Jamie Wilson is your winner for Team Chimera. He ended with an 8.2 second gap over Tice Simons, who was fuel saving dramatically at the end of the race. And Adam Wright is your AM class winner with a 3rd place overall. Fantastic drive, 20 seconds behind Jamie at the end. Marcus Bletz comes home in 4th for VTS Germany Black. Ben Tusting recovers excellently to 5th for Team Chimera. Abdul Al Amri finishes in 6th for Asymmetric, another solid recovery drive. Marco Lewert comes home in 7th for VTS Germany Black. That's going to be a good day in the Teams Championship for VTS Germany Black. Kevin DeWinter comes home 2nd in AM Class 8th overall for Stage 1 Racing. Chris Shaw comes home in 9th for Ascari Autosport. Carl Hardy rounds out the top 10 with a 3rd place in AM Class for Result Headwear. Paul Burgess, making his first appearance in the series, brings it home in 11th, ahead of Stefan Gerbel. Barry Van Englenhoven comes home 13th, ahead of Charles Kellyman and Roy Vervaeke, rounding out the top 15. Jacob Lebrun and Simon Chester bring it home in 16th and 17th, respectively. I believe Simon was the top finishing of the Mercedes.
Yes, I think he was.
No, sorry.
Oh, no, it's Kevin.
Kevin DeWinter, yes. Yeah. Tom Sluter comes home in 18th. Ralph Cullinan in 19th, Roger Morton in 20th, Frank Tibosh in 21st, and Ben Cullen in 22nd after pile driving it into the wall after the line. Jeremiah McClintock, your first car 1 lap down, comes home in 23rd. Rough day for him, ahead of Paul Robinson. John Redwine in 25th. Yaz Samai, also making his debut in the series, comes home 26th. Alan Toon in 27th. Jonathan Foote, 28th. Martin Verschluven, 29th. A rough day in the points for those two, for sure. Jamie Jeffrey in 30th. Dan Giudici in 31st. Adam Watson, after a couple of incidents, comes home in 32nd. And that is everybody besides Pete Bingham.
Yeah, who is probably the best of the field. At the minute, we've only got Ty Simons in the waiting room, which is a surprise given the amount of people that had fantastic races. We didn't hear from. Hang on a minute.
Oh, now we've got Jamie and Marcus in there as well.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Just give them time to sort themselves out, and we should be fine. Let's try to stop my screen from strobing now that the session's finished. Bill, what do you take from that race?
Oh, I'm out of breath. I don't know what to say. It was fantastic. My hat's off to Tyler for figuring that one out. That was I wouldn't have had a clue, but I knew that the Chimera guys were really running good, and I certainly thought they had a definite chance of winning, which one of them did. And like Tyler said, they both ran very strong all day long, and certainly earned this victory, no doubt about it.
And I'm surprised we've not heard from Clyde, seeing as this is probably his best finish of the year.
He's probably had a lot of medicinal cider, so you never know.
Right, yeah, to kill the pain of his
exactly. Yep.
Chipped toenail or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring in our race winner, if I can remember how to do it.
Click and drag, Pete.
Yeah, click and drag. Where's live? Where's that?
Actually, I'm having. There it is.
Oh, have you done it? Oh, that's excellent.
Jamie Wilson, congratulations! Wow.
Wow, that was pretty crazy.
What a guy, man! You were sensational.
Oh, what a relief!
Jamie, I said after the safety car that a Team Chimera car was going to win it. I picked your teammate, so sorry about that. But really, phenomenal drive and excellent strategy call, knowing what to do there. Did you know that it was going to be impossible to one stop, or was that just what you thought you could do to be different?
We were about to go in the pits, Ben and I were having a discussion about, do we do this? Do we do the short stop now? Do we take tyres? No. Do we do this, that, and the other? And the thing that surprised us was that I think it was 7 people ahead of us didn't pit, or 7 people around us didn't pit. which, completely caught us off guard. Ben was even trying to do a little fake dummy thing in the pits, and then the guys ahead just didn't do anything. They just carried on. It's like, oh, okay. But at that point, we did a bit of chimera mathematics and figured out that they were at least 2 laps short, based on our fuel usage at least. We, as a team, collectively have a fair bit of expertise in fuel saving. Citation, Joshua Chin in any race. So because he's crazy good at it. So we know what's possible and what isn't. We thought that was cutting it very, very, very fine. There a lot of things that have to fall into place for it to work for them. Ben obviously had his own trouble. You're right. Ben probably should have won that race otherwise. I was quite happy sitting behind him. I didn't fight him when he got to me. Obviously, you wouldn't. And I was quite content sitting there. So, pretty good result. Ben's got a chance of chasing the leader down, maybe. So, he had his incident, and then it's just a case of, well, I just need to do quali laps for the rest of the race now. Mine slightly less good than anyone else's quali laps, but the quali laps nonetheless.
Yeah, it was, really impressive. I mean, obviously Tice was saving massively, but, as we were discussing in the booth here, there's no way for you to know that. And he was certainly, you knew he was saving, but there was no way for you to know whether he had saved enough or not. And he was certainly kind of using you as a fuel-saving tool, I think, towards the end of that race until he really had to start lifting heavily. So when he was back there, did you? What was your plan? Was it just to kind of ride there, and if he made a move to get defensive, or were you just going to kind of let him through because you figured he wasn't going to make it?
Yeah, I just confirmed in the waiting room just now that I was right about this. That his plan was to get up behind me and then just kind of park there and save fuel as much as possible. And I figured that out at the time and thought, well, he's going to get to a point 2, 3, 4 laps to go where his meter dings, I've got enough now, and he can just absolutely blitz me with his incredible pace that I had no chance of fighting. So that was in the back of my mind the whole time, thinking, all I'm doing here is helping him. I was chatting to Ben saying, do I just let him through? And then that costs him the fuel and, that kind of thing. All of that, trying to play mind games, sort of, it's like chess, like thinking a couple of moves ahead. If I do that, then that happens, but then that might happen, and then there's the risk of that, and then if we hit traffic, this happens, and so on. But no, in the end, I just thought, well, I'm just going to have to do what I can do. If he's going to pass me, he's going to pass me. I'm not really, considering the pace difference, I'm not really going to be able to fight it too hard. I'm not going to let him through, but you guys know, I'm going to defend, but I'm not going to be crazy about it. And eventually, I think he had a lock up or just outbraked himself into the first Ravazza. And lost a bit of time and then never recovered it. And then at that point, he was then starting to have to, clutch and stuff. So at that point, it's just a case of bring it home and just pray there's no traffic that plays silly buggers ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, and we saw you run a pretty excellently clean race. Obviously, you had the incident early on with Adam Watson. From our perspective, it looked like as racing of an incident as racing incidents get. You were fading a bit to the left on the brakes, and he was fading to the right, and you just kind of came together. Was that kind of your understanding of the situation, or were you? Did you think there was something untowards going on there?
Well, on the previous lap through Acca Minerali, he dived it up the inside, and I wasn't going to vanish, so I just stuck it around the outside, no contact or anything as far as I know. But I got the old flashy lights coming out of that into the chicane, so he was felt aggrieved by something. And then going into Tamburello the next lap, as far as I saw, I haven't watched it back, caveat that, but it looked to me like he just outbraked himself. I'm on the right, the corner curves, I'm turning a bit left because you do, otherwise I'm going to hit the white line. So, but the rate at which he went past my left door, it made me think there's no way he's going to make that corner, and sure enough, he didn't. So it was just unfortunate. He just tapped the front of my car to spin himself out, really.
Yeah, fair enough. really, just an absolutely stellar drive from you today. Do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, Ben in the first instance, Ben Tusting. Obviously, this is a car change for us. We were in the Ferrari previously. We did a lot of, I wouldn't say proper testing, but we did a lot of runs in different cars and everything. And there was a lot of work involved in doing that and thinking, oh, do we run the Ford just for a laugh? And we almost did. We were very close to that decision. But yeah, we settled on the Audi, and there's a lot of Ben did a lot of work on figuring out what the best option was there. And he did the setup for this, and as I say, it should have been his win really. He towed me around in quali. We were kind of working together in the race at points. It was a real team effort. So thanks a lot to him and for Simon in the background, Simon Trendle, doing a bit of strategy work on the Discord. And the other drivers, I had a great race with I think it's Paul Robinson for a while there in the middle. Really fantastic stuff. He raced me very, very, very hard, but very, very fair as well. I was impressed with that. And of course, you guys for another excellent broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching, especially this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw your battle with Paul, or at least some snippets of it, and it looked fantastic. So definitely glad you had fun out there. And as I've said a few times now, just a really phenomenal drive. And congratulations on your win, Jamie Wilson.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
Nice job, Jamie. Good job, man.
I almost called me Wayne, even now.
I didn't call you Wayne.
Good job.
Very good, Jamie. We'll see you next
Clyde.
time out. Yeah.
Right, that's Jamie Wilson. I'm going to go and fish for one Tice Simons. I figured out how to do this again now, so hopefully we'll have Tice Simons in the booth. Tice, second place. Congratulations. Nice work.
Yeah, I'm glad that I still managed second, but of course I wanted to win, but oh well, it is what it is, right?
Absolutely. Did you ever watch the Flintstones as a child?
No.
No, okay. It was a family of cave people who drove their cars by having no floor, and they used to run on the tarmac. So I'm wondering whether you were doing this in order to save fuel for about the last, what was that, about 12 laps of the race. We saw you were well off the gas very, very early.
Well, I figured, I think I saw something in the rule books that if you make one stop that you get extra points, right?
Yeah, I don't think that exists. There's no way Clyde's putting that in there. He'd only put that in there if it was a 4-stopper. You got extra points.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a shame. During the pit stops, during the safety car, I should say, the Chimera guys went in, so yeah, I figured I had to do something. I had to go in as well, or just stay out and do massive fuel saving. But yeah, even the massive fuel saving was not enough to get the race win here today. So that's just a bummer. And at one point I was like 5 liters short to make it to the end.
Whoa,
so
5 liters. Whoa.
Yeah, 5 liters indeed. And I just started clutching like a madman because I had like a 15-second gap behind me, and I was like, okay, well, the win is out of the books here, and let's just try to get P2 home. And I had to do like massive lifting on the straights, and everywhere where I could lift, I lifted. Even had a spun for good measure because I disengaged the clutch, and that locked my rear wheels and spun me around. So.
Well, you'll be glad to know that we caught that on camera.
Oh yeah, great. So
yep.
even I spin.
To be fair though, I don't know this as a fact, but I think you were the only one that pitted once properly, and you were the fastest car on track as far as I can see. Yes, you were the fastest car on track. You did the fastest lap of the race. And at one point, you were nearly 11 seconds in the lead until the caution was called. You can't be that disappointed with second place. That is a fantastic result around Imola. It's a difficult track. It's very, very technical. And you proved today that you have all the skills to get around this track very, very cleanly. I don't know what you had as incidents in the end. I know you had that little spin, but that's not a lot, is it, really?
Yeah, I think around 10 incidents or so. But It's just a shame indeed. I'm happy with P2, don't get me wrong, since I'm in the title fight and I finished ahead of Chris Shaw, I believe, who was in P2. P2, I should say, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall not a bad day at all. So I'm happy with my performance, but of course wanted the race win. Had the pace for the race win, but the Chimera guys just beat me on strategy, like a massive GG to them. Looking back, I should have just jumped in the pits and get the splash and dash that I had at the end during the safety car, because on pace I think I should have just won it then if I did that strategy as well. But yeah, it is what it is, and P2, a good day for me.
Yeah, a fantastic day for you. Anybody you'd like to thank or have a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, my team. Like we also had a few of us were already running the Audi, but then I decided to hop in the Audi as well, because the Z4 got removed and the McLaren didn't treat me well at Interlagos. So yeah, the Audi, great car, and we managed to make a great setup. And so yeah, the team massively helped me there, and the sponsors, of course, Cracked Coffee, A Priori, Josh Thompson, our driver coach. And then the sponsors that still allows us to run their logos on our car. The charities, I should say, Prostate Cancer UK and Mind. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, cool. Bill, I've not had my coffee yet. Have you?
No, it'd be nice. The crack coffee come across, with the nice commentators that are here. But oh well. Congratulations, Ty. Well done,
Yeah,
man.
cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Ty Simons, our
Yeah,
second
catch you
place
later, boys.
finisher. Right then, I'm gonna keep your bromance going, Tyler, with with Adam Wright as I get him in the booth for you.
There you go.
Adam Wright, pretty phenomenal job today, I have to say, and I did say a few times on the broadcast, hence the bromance comments. But
Adam, he really likes you. So okay. Anyway, just wanted to let you.
At least someone does, eh?
well, I have to make it seem like I'm a big fan of yours and not like, tooting my own horn for helping you with the setup. But just kidding, I didn't do much at all. But really, just a stellar drive today, and kind of a masterclass in picking the right strategy and staying out of trouble, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, it caught me by surprise, to be fair. There wasn't much to do with strategy because the safety car came out right in the first window. So, yeah, just filled it up on the next stop and went for it. But I'm not quite sure how I got to third, to be fair.
Yeah, well, no discredit to you, but there was certainly a lot of goings on with the front runners throughout the race. We saw a number of incidents for a lot of the pro class drivers, but that's not to say you didn't beat quite a few of them on pace alone.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to finish my thought, is there? How did you feel with the McLaren this weekend? Because I was talking up the Audi, having driven the McLaren a bit, thinking the Audi was going to be the car to beat. But do you think you could have handled the Audis pretty well with the McLaren?
Yeah, I'm loving the McLaren. I was just talking to the VTS boys in the waiting room. It's quite forgiving. It's predictable. It doesn't jump out like it used to. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, very good. Well, you didn't quite qualify towards. No, I'm sorry, you did. You qualified just ahead of Stefan Goebbels. But it seemed for most of the race like you were pretty well clear of the other AM drivers, aside from the safety car kind of pit strategy shake-up of things. But who I guess was your kind of best battle, closest competition with Pro-Am or otherwise?
To be honest, I was just surrounded by VTS cars at the beginning of the race, and I couldn't get by them. I didn't know if they were protecting Jeremiah, or I don't know if there's any strategy going on. It's a shame he got taken out because he was my focus. As long as I stayed near him, then I was happy to let the faster pro guys go if I had to, and just focus on the AM guys. To be fair.
Yeah, I have to say we noticed you in the swamp of VTS cars a couple of times throughout the race, and certainly they seem to be kind of in the middle of the action the whole way through. Certainly, this should help your chance, as you mentioned, Jeremiah having some trouble and Ben not knowing how to manage tires seems to have given you a pretty significant jump in the championship coming out of this round.
Yeah, hopefully Clyde does the tables tonight, maybe, so I can have a look. But yeah, today was just focusing about keeping it clean. That's all I wanted to do. I had a horrible race at Interlagos, so I just wanted a clean race, and that's what I got. And yeah, I guess that's what I got. Third place.
Yeah, very good. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just everyone at BSTV, really, and like you say yourself, you helped me get the car. I was struggling through 5 and 9, really struggling with the rear, and your set of advice actually made it very stable, so I didn't have to worry about going off there. I didn't, so it's good.
Well, thanks very much. Your check's in the mail, and that is your third place finisher, Adam Wright, everybody.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, so that was Adam Wright. Who are we going to get next? Needs to be Marcus Bletz, doesn't it? So I'll get Marcus Bletz in and interrogate Marcus. So good evening, Marcus Bletz, 4th place, 3rd in class. Excellent work, yeah?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, good result for me.
Yeah, and a race with lots of incidents, lots of events. The caution came out very early on in the race, and you kind of stayed clear of a lot of the trouble, didn't you? It was around you and kind of in front of you, and then everything was behind you, really. You were in 4th place.
Yeah, I was quite lucky. The only real dangerous situation was just in front of me when I think Paul went on the curb and there was a little netcode issue involved, and then 2 cars went off.
Yeah.
And
3 of you, 3 VTS cars,
yeah.
3 Lamborghinis managed to squirrel their way through the middle of the whole thing. That was
exactly.
fantastic to watch.
That was really lucky. But then I had the incident with Marco at the next hairpin. We were all too much excited with what was happened before, but we sorted it out already. So
we saw that. We saw the aftermath of that, I should say, with both of you sideways. But great race though. And what were you doing in terms of fuel strategy?
Actually, we did quite well this time. We did some calculations that if the safety car comes after 15 minutes, it would be just good to go with the typical 2-stop. I think it was not possible to go 1-stop this time. And then we said, okay, safety car comes, all in. And then we save some time during safety car. So it was quite an easy decision. And we were wondering that a lot of guys stayed out. But that was good for us.
Yeah, and how much fuel did you have at the end?
Actually was able to go back in the pits. It cuffed, I think, 3 corners before the pits, but I was saving a little bit as I saw that AAA was also saving some fuel behind me. And I said, okay, do some lift and coast just to be in the safe side. But then it was okay. Yeah. If 1 lap more would have been crucial, but it was easy going.
And where you were racing, it was a challenge to get a clean race, I think. So you did a great job. How many incident points did you accrue at the end? Or don't you know?
I think 9 or 10. So
that's not bad. That's all right.
Yeah.
No, good effort. And it seemed like there was VTS cars everywhere. Every other car was a VTS car.
It's just a new color, It's some hypnotic color. You just think that we are everywhere.
Hypnotic is the right word. Holy
yeah. It's like the Doppler effect. You're okay. It's fantastic racing. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go and we go and speak to Marco?
Yeah, for sure. Our whole team, VTS, we did a good job this time, I think. Overall, quite good performance. Our American colleagues had a little less luck today, but overall, we were really enjoying the event. And again, thanks to you for the broadcast and all the league setup and everything.
Result, Marcus. 4th overall, 3rd in class. That'll do your championship standing. No damage at all, so congratulations.
Thanks. See you next time.
Right then, and for your pleasure, Tyler, I am going to bring in Marco.
And welcome to the booth, Marco Lort. You there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, a little quiet, but yes, we can hear you. Kind of an up and down day for you, and most of it involved running in a big giant group of your VTS teammates. We just talked to Marcus. Obviously, you two had your little incident in the hairpin, and I believe you also had a spin in Aqua Minerale, if I'm not mistaken. But all that said, you did have a pretty excellent recovery to 7th place and 6th in class. So, how was the day from your perspective?
If you would have asked me yesterday for 7th place, I would say it's a perfect result. But today, I think 2 places more would have been possible. But at the end, I think it's a good team result, 4th and 7th place. And so, because we are not anymore in the driver championship, we cannot reach anything. But in the team championship, we are on P3.
Yeah, very true. And we were noting the a solid result between you and Marcus. As you mentioned, your American colleagues weren't as lucky, but the two of you had a pretty strong race today. And we certainly saw. It seemed at points as if the whole field was exploding around you, and the VTS cars were just kind of picking their way through. Did it feel chaotic in the car at all, or was it more just kind of running the race to your strategy and to your plan?
Yeah, until close to the end, it was not chaotic because we were driving and it went more in front and more. But I did not know why. I just had the feeling that we have had a good run, and then it got a little bit chaotic with Paul. He was very lucky to get in front because of the safety car, but the driver behind him were faster, and then we were all catching him, and then we had a little problem. And but at the end, this was chaotic, and at the end, I was getting nervous because of was fantastic. I think in the Chimera Audi.
Yes, Ben was working his way back through towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a mistake, and I could, but luckily I could defend against the winter place. So this was a little bit chaotic, but the most part of the race was just driving as fast as possible. That's all.
Yeah, and as you said, even if 2 places would have been potentially possible, I think you did a pretty excellent job picking your way. I personally, I think anyone who finished kind of in the top 10 did a pretty excellent job today, given all the incidents we saw. Do you have anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
No, mostly I thank you, and I thank our viewers on YouTube and the other channels, and and I thank Lamborghini for the good car.
Very good. Your 7th place finisher today, Marco Lort.
See you, bye.
Gone, all gone. So, last one into the interview room is gonna be Paul Burgess, who sneaked in at the last minute. Well, not the last minute, but he was the last one in. But not the last one to finish. 11th place, Paul. And you started 8th. There was some goings on, in inverted commas. I did do the thing, next to my head. All in all, not a bad finish. That was, how many places is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in class, is that, or something like that? That's a great result.
Yeah, it was good fun. I mean, I didn't really know strategy or anything like that coming into this. Is just driving as a guest, and then got under fueled by my crew chief, so that didn't work so well. Without that, I could probably have been 6th or 7th, but all in all, it was real good fun. And great to be racing near the front with some really fast guys and in a different car for a change.
Before you bought the car, how hideously ugly it is.
I don't mind it, to be honest. I always quite like the BMWs and how they drive. I just think I'm more of a front engine sort of guy. So when it came out, I was definitely keen to give it a try, and I've enjoyed driving it.
Yeah, and you were in the thick of it for most of the race, weren't you? Where the action was at, you were in or around it. A very competitive race. How was it in terms of your introduction to the VRA?
The first few laps were a little bit scary. Let's put it that way. Like, there was a lot more willingness to take the gap than I'd expected there to be in a 90-minute race. I was a bit more. I think I was a bit slow off the mark and a bit too keen just to see what happened. But once I managed to find a spot and settle in, the pace then came back. It was good fun. It's a good track to try and pick how to overtake someone, and the safety car mixed things up. That meant there was a good little battle between Marco and Paul Robinson, myself, and a few others for a bit. Unfortunately, ended with a slight incident, but when I looked it back, it was definitely a racing incident.
Was that the Paul on Paul incident?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Paul just bounced off the curbs, and
yeah, we saw that. Yeah,
it definitely happened. So shame, but it still led to a good race after that. So I was more than happy. Fortunately, I'm not fighting for points or anything like that, so that made it a lot more enjoyable. That you're not worrying about the places you're losing and just worrying about the what's in front of you on the racetrack. So all in all, it was good fun. Even though I made the mistake with the fuel and lost a few places from the incident, but it was good to have a race over that distance that you could really pace yourself and chase a few people down.
No, that you enjoyed it and were able to, because sometimes the competition can get a bit laboursome on your mind, can't it? And it's sometimes when there's not that there's nothing to race for, but it definitely takes the pressure off and means you can focus on enjoying what you're doing. So I fully understand where you're coming from there. Imola's not an easy track to master either, is it? And especially with they're not all new to you, the drivers in this, but some of them will be.
Yeah, it's Imola's a track I really like though. Like, I mean, as I was saying to Yaz in practice, I'm enjoying just driving around the track. Don't need to be racing anyone. It's good fun driving this car around here. But yeah, I was setting myself little challenges, seeing who I could catch. I particularly wanted to try and take some points away from AAA. I mean, I wasn't getting them myself, but I quite enjoy taking points away from AAA. So trying to chase him down, but unfortunately it didn't work. So yeah, it was a good finish, and I also sort of let Carl finish ahead of me. I thought he was trying to do some sort of formation finish. I didn't realise he ran out of fuel, so I could have pipped him and got a top 10 at the end. So
yeah, you should have done that. That'd have been amusing for later on in the week. So anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go?
Just you guys for letting me race. It was good fun. So yeah, thanks very much.
Very good. Thanks to Paul Burgess for his entertaining racing tonight, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
So, fantastic race. We've already spoken about what we thought of it individually, but any last minute recaps, Tyler?
Well, just a really excellent race, and it's one thing when there's kind of like one good strategy and everyone sticks to it. And in fairness, there was one probably correct strategy here today, but always love a good battle of strategies, especially when it leads to on-track battling as well, which we definitely saw today. And I think as well some good parity between the different teams and different cars. We were wondering if maybe the Paceworks Audis were going to run away with it, but they had nice challenge from the Chimera Audis, and then certainly Martin Verstluven in the Ferrari as well was right there or thereabouts, and then Adam Wright, in the McLaren getting the AM win. So it didn't seem as if there were any issues with parity with the new cars, which is good, given that was the hope. I really just thought it was an excellent race, and I really enjoyed commentating on it.
Yeah, good to hear. And Bill, anything stand out for you, or any other highlights?
Yeah, I have to agree with Tyler. I'm certainly not a strategist by any means, but I'm glad everybody didn't do the same thing today. It made it a lot more interesting, even though some of them came out on the short end. Unfortunately, didn't get the win. I mean, Ty's probably had the pace to win. He just made the wrong move, and he realizes it, and like he said, second place isn't so bad considering that he's at the top and he got a good points haul. And and Adam Wright did one hell of a job, on the AM side, coming in third overall, and and he threw a lot of fire out the back, which is very exciting. So really, I think it's the best race we've covered so far, to be perfectly honest, and. It happened too quickly, in my opinion. I know everybody wants to go home, but it was a great race. Enjoyed every minute of it. And if they're all like this one, it'll be easy to come back. So that's all I got, Pete.
No, that's all we need. And Sam, how was that from your perspective?
I would say a busy race again with great battles. I think the guys said already strategies all over the place. That was great. I think the safety car that early in the race really shake things up, because we saw people jumping in and we saw Thijs and a few others trying to get on one stop, and that made the race very interesting till the end, until we discovered that Thijs didn't make it. That was a great race. Few mistakes from the drivers, mostly in the first half of the race, but overall a great race again. So really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I have to echo everybody else's comments. That was just a brilliant race. There was some funny moments, some scary moments, and that's what you want out of racing, isn't it? The dynamic excitement. Don't forget to like the broadcast if you did indeed like it. Don't forget to watch us on Twitch if that's your preference. Follow us on Facebook. You won't miss anything. And we'll hopefully see you next time. And next time will be Wednesday, where we've got the GT4s and TCR Challenge, the EDF Motorsports race that we do. I think we've got a race next Friday. I'm not sure though. Yep, excellent.
Yeah, the next
Always
level Lamborghini Cup.
Brilliant. And plenty more to come beyond that. So we hope to see you soon. I'm going to say goodbye, give the other guys the opportunity to do so as well. And hopefully see you all safe and well for Wednesday. So good night, everybody, and I'll pass you over to Tyler.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody, and hope to see you next time.
Yep, good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that one. If you didn't, I don't know how we're going to top it. But anyway, good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and hope to see you on the next race on Wednesday. And Tyler must win, because I don't know, I want to.
Yeah,
that's optimistic.
Yeah, see you on Friday, on Wednesday, not Friday. Okay.